greens and let him go. Stand back, stand clear as he puts on the show. So cute yet fierce is he from hell. Can I tell yet I don't even want to know. So you want to be a trailblazer, kick the dirt like a hellraiser. Take the reins but don't react slow. It's time to feel the force of the chocobo. So you think you can ride this chocobo? Got chocobos, you better put him on the chocobo. Settle up if you think you can ride in this rodeo. You know, I don't know till the girls are wrong. If you think you're gonna hide this chocobo, everybody's gonna wanna ride your chocobo. The choco local style in the choco rodeo. Choco ride him straight to hell in the chocobo rodeo. That's right.
It's not too bad, is it? Although most of it is probably, most of the excellence behind it is the footage behind, which of course I can't take any credit for, because that's Final Fantasy footage. But nonetheless, it's nice. It's probably one of the simplest ones I've done. But simple and clean is sort of the way Final Fantasy does things. Simple, clean, white areas is pretty much how they do the thing. And we should be... Whee! See, there you go. You can... Point proven. I think I may be deafening myself. Yeah, almost. Not quite. We caught it just in time. But welcome, Mr. Blue Boosh. I'm surprised to see you here this afternoon. Have you managed to sort of... What's the word? Exfiltrate, I suppose, will suffice. It's not quite the word I'm after. Extricate? Yeah, I think it's extricate. As in to remove yourself from. Have you extricated yourself from your guests? Or are the guests there with you? Oh, you just got in, sat down, 30 seconds of your stream. Ah, wow. Very good timing.
World of Final Fantasy.
Dude! Lozenges. But yes, welcome. In that case, the what are you doing? Or what have you been doing, I suppose, is the more optimal question. Actually, I suppose technically I know, because I saw it in the Discord, I think. But do feel free to confirm. What have you been up to today? What caused you to have just got in? I think... Pretty certain we got to the end and I just stopped. I don't think there was any kind of bonus special. Yeah, we just want to move on to the next section of map. Unless, did I do... Which one is it? So, internal line, There we go. You've punished CSMP, but I'm still on the list. I mean, technically I shouldn't be on the list, because all I did was ask for an impersonation of Blue Boosh. Now, I didn't know you'd popped round there last night. So it's not my fault, you know, that you had to come forth and sort of present yourself. After all, because all I saw was, can I have an impersonation of Blue Boosh? And then I saw Mr. Can't Sleep wander off, and then you came back, and then you wandered off, and then he came back, and I was very surprised to see it. Very surprised indeed. Is that a big worm or a sort of more dino sort of thing, or a combination of both? I think it's just a big worm. Yeah. In fact, I think yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm fairly certain I recognise something similar to this in Final Fantasy X. So I wonder if these are sort of, again, a fairly regular level of things. Where is Kevin Bacon? He can help. Oh, was he in Doom? Was Kevin Bacon in Doom? Oh, okay. My medium creature has no abilities. Excellent. I've got Venom, Needle, and Tickle, though. That's not too bad, I suppose. But I have to hope. He was in the movie where worms crawl under the sand. Is that the redneck one? Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Well, I don't immediately... I think I vaguely recall that one, but I don't immediately think of it. Anyway, let's track them down, figure out what they can do and what I can do against them. So ideally water, but I don't think we've got much in the way of water at the moment. But we'll have to go tremors, yes, or tremots. Tremots was when the worms had to go in for their Ministry of Transport tests. Yes, all the worms have come in, and only one of them has failed their MOT. So wind, blizzard, water ideally. Can't capture them because they're specialised sandworm creatures. But let's see. Oh, I have my Moogle friend, so I do have Wind Rhapsody. Rhapsody Angel inbound. Also, I do have Frost in the form of Snowfist. It's called Sovereign Fist, and it's by the character known as Snow. Apocalypse. Aplopalots, yes. Age of Aplopalots. I'm assuming at some point Mr. Aplopalots might come into MCP at some stage. Go, Snow! It's your birthday. Let's party like it's your birthday. And this is quite an intense ability because it targets everybody whilst also raising my defence for only 1 star. It is really good move. Plus it's snow, so, and I like snow. As we saw in Final Fantasy 13, I do really like snow. That's why I think it's a shame. I don't remember them doing much. I don't think they did much with snow in Final Fantasy 13 too. And I don't think I was overly enamoured with what they did to him in Final Fantasy 13 Free Lightning Returns. So, all in all, it was a bit sort of disappointing. He looks like the Elsa of Final Fantasy. I suppose the snow powers, yeah. The frosty snow powers. Although I suppose, arguably, well, no, because she's more goddess than just a conjurer of ice. But the actual Shiva sisters would have been the original Snow Queens. Right, so yeah, let's just no, not champions again. Double check these abilities. Thunder. Thunder was no real consequence. In fact, it resists it, so no to Thunder if we can be so kind. So I think it's got to be Wind Rhapsody. Wind, not hugely optimal, but not bad. Charge! Hey, we lucked out a little bit on the far one. Whoa! Oh, I'm assuming she is afflicted with slow. Okay, fair enough. It's not quite as bad, because I thought, Jesus, she's moving hugely slow, but you can see a slight downward particle effecty thing around her character if we swoop back to her, of course. The camera, the moment I tried to explain something, the camera went, nope. Nobody's going to be allowed to see that, you know. But yeah, she's got that downward trajectory thing, which I think, I can only assume, is providing slow, which is not optimal. Channel Earth element, that's not optimal either. What was it Tickle did? Oh, it is considered high. And that, I remember now, that's why he's called Slap. Or she's called Slap, whatever you want to call the cat. Because, oh yeah, I suppose I'll give you a quick update on the Can't Sleep Must Paint situation, I suppose. We're no longer using Must Paint at the moment, but we are still using Can't Sleep. However, Can't Sleep, I think, has become... I think that might actually be the Nut Eater. I can't remember if I turned him into a Skull Eater or a Nut Eater, but I think I turned Can't Sleep into a Nut Eater. And that makes him a medium creature, which means he now goes in the middle. So we've got Slap Can't Sleep. And the reason we nicknamed the cat Slap is because it had a move called Tickle, so that we've got Slap and Tickle. I didn't say it was a good reason, I just said it was a reason. We'll try Poisonous Needles, probably in the weakest one there. Sandicore, where are you now? Oh, you're on my Nut Eater. Winter Rhapsody. Hello, I'm Rhapsody. I think Rhapsody was the French one in... No, I don't think she was actually. I think Harmony might have been the French one in... No, I might be wrong. I've got a feeling Rhapsody might have been the English one. But I'm talking about Angels from Captain Scarlet, for anybody wondering at this point. Has he gone completely mad? Not completely, but mostly. Oh, that's inconvenient. That's going to kill someone, isn't it? You... not quite as much of a bastard as I thought you were going to be. Let's get some Cura going on that stack, because they are almost dead because they got drilled in the face. And that's not a place you need to be drilled. Venom Needle. I don't know. What are the odds of me actually poisoning these fucks? Very limited. But, I don't know. It might be slightly more potent than regular attacks. Anyway, it's really going to be the Moogle one we're relying on here. Wind Rhapsody. Because unfortunately, we do have the upgraded version of Zapped as well. That's Baby Ramu. I can't remember what his name was, though. I don't think it was a very good name, in fairness. Yeah, I think just go back to standard attacks for you. I fear there's little else you're going to be capable of. Also, I think you're going to be shit out of luck on with Wind Rhapsody, which is unfortunate. So, just straight attacks for you as well. Diddly bum. And away we go. Keep hitting them as hard as you can. And please don't knock my stack apart. I will be most frustrated if you knocking my stack over is the least of the things I want. It's the lowest on the list of things that I want. Boom! Yeah, nice. As long as it does focus on one of the targets, it's not so bad. But if it starts sort of screwing up, it's not going to be great. So, are you 100% sure you don't have a cure? I'm 100% sure you don't have a cure. You do, however, have a regen, which means I could... well, weirdly, yeah, not attached to any of those. Apply regen to the stacks. Yeah, I think it might be worthwhile. It took me a while to decide to do that, though, of course, which is always slightly troublesome. Because it means... oh, that worm should be dead now. Good. It means I'm not getting the most out of the regen, but still. Let's do a little regen for the other stack. Theoretically now, at least, that means both stacks are regenning themselves. Regen, for anybody who doesn't know, is pretty much what it suggests. They are regenerating health points. It's just a tick every turn. You get a couple hundred back, or however many it said there. I think it was around about 100. It's not too bad. You don't often... oh, if that's Lan, he might be fucked. No, okay. If that's you, she might be fucked as well, in fairness, but I'm hoping... just... okay, that's not so bad. The stack falling apart, that is quite bad. That is, in fact, very, very bad. But... yeah, I haven't... okay, we need... hopefully, I think it looks like she's going to be slightly faster. This is not optimal as situations go. I mean, the fact that I don't really have... I don't have the optimal way of curing. Are you going to cure automatically? Okay. The correct target. Well done, son. That's what we need to see. We need to see you're doing things correctly. Oh, I see. You are also back in the game. That's how fast Lan is. He's outpaced everybody and had like 2 turns. It's quite impressive. Get back on the stack. And now I'm not entirely sure. Well, you didn't actually die, so your regen should still be intact. But you don't really have any moves, so I think it is just twat 'em. Twat 'em in the face holes. Twat them in any other holes they have. Oh, Lan, don't be a... you're going to be a prick. Yep, he's going to be a prick. Well, now we've got to wait for him to come round again. Not a whole lot I can do about this situation, so I think it's going to have to just be Rain. Continue hitting things, please, Rain. Continue hitting things. I'll tell you what might work as a slightly alternate stratagem. So I'm going to strike out with this monster, because they can all attack independently. See the flaws of trying to head into battle with a bird on your head. Hey, technically, I have not headed into battle with a bird on my head. I have headed into battle with a cat on my head. And that is completely normal. As I remember, if memory serves, a mate of mine ended up having that situation. Now, it's one of those stories that, you know, take with a healthy pinch of salt. But supposedly, according to him... Oh, I want to stack, that's the button I'm after. Supposedly, according to him, he was working in a charity shop while he was... I think it was work experience at school, so this is many years ago. Oh, you're dead, aren't you, Lon? Well, bollocks. This is not good news. Oh, no. Okay, that must be a percentile. Because otherwise that should have surely killed me. And the fact that it didn't makes me think it's something like Demi, which is sort of either 50% of your health bar or something else. I'm not sure, but either way, it definitely should have killed me at that point in time, and it didn't, so there must be something else happening. Anyway, yeah, he came in with this tale of he was working in this charity shop, and some guy came in and he had a cat sat on his head. That's pretty much the end of the story, in fairness. There's not much else, but it's a very peculiar thing. I mean, it's a weird thing to have made up, let alone a weird thing to have actually happened. So, yeah, it's very peculiar. But I had something with birds in my sort of work experience, which was I was in Sainsbury's, and I mean, again, it's a fairly dull story. I'm not gonna try and sort of suggest otherwise. It's a very dull story, but it was. I mean, in essence, yeah, this tells you how dull the job was when this was the excitement for the day. That tells you how boring it is to work in a shop when this next story was the excitement. A bird managed to fly its way into the store, and that bird couldn't find its way out, so it just kept doing laps of the store. So every few moments we'd look up and go, that bird's still here. And that's it. That was classified as excitement in that job. So, yeah. Wasn't a very exciting time of life. Another guy, because I only did 2 weeks there. You were supposed to do 3 weeks. I only did 2 because we had a geography trip. So I went off on a geography trip. And he was on the edge of your seat the whole way through, I'm sure. But in the 3rd week, apparently there was suspicion of someone shoplifting. So a mate of mine ended up having to track him around the store. And they were just... I have in my head that old classic where you've got the sort of... The person who's being under suspicion walks down the aisle, and then at the end of the aisle you just get one head at the bottom poke out, and then a slightly taller head at the top poke out, and they're just going, keep an eye on that man. This is part of your work experience. Keep an eye on that man. So that was unusual. Again, I wasn't there. That was anecdotal evidence post work experience, because I think we had to do a little... Yeah, I think we had to do some kind of little presentation for fucking school reasons, I suppose. We had to do a little presentation to show what we'd learned in our work experience, and yeah, I think the one thing I learnt was Sainsbury's were at least generous enough to give me a CD. I can't remember, I think I do still own the CD. I feel like it's one of My Chemical Romance ones, potentially. Hey, it's Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. Apart from in this garb, I believe she is rocking her Final Fantasy 13 Lightning's Return outfit. Now, I have no idea what she was absorbing there in terms of orbage, but that is nonetheless lightning.
I don't know what you did, but thanks.
Save it for later. The longer we all stay out.
I can't deny it. That armour and sword, possibly the sword especially, it is quite a nice help she's got. And she's got far more capage in the third game. Yeah, I'd move. Guys, come on. You don't really want to be in this desert anymore. You don't really want run, do you? But, well, we've made it to a campsite. Who are you? Are you important? No.
I just want to forget those sandworms ever existed.
That was a little bit blunt, wasn't it? Who are you? Are you important? No, you're not. Just don't say that out loud to someone, eh? You'll give them a complex indeed. Doo-doo. Oh, another lovely dead-end path that led to nothing game. You don't understand how to design dead-end paths. You're supposed to put a treasure chest at the end of them.
You can
Hello.
always find refuge from the desert here. Make sure you rest up before attempting to cross.
I will. In fairness, I didn't really need Lightning's help. I could have handled that situation. The game just took control away from me. And that's my excuse, and I'll stick by it. I could have easily beaten several more worms if need be. I'll tell you what, I will give you a quick... we'll go through my items, because I always like to get rid of the... I did get a sandworm prism. That's interesting. I suppose because it was a boss battle, they were unimprisonable. However, a regular sandworm perhaps is not so much. But I'll give a quick little butchers at the old... whoa there, hello. Butchers at the old stacks. So at the moment we've still got the ability, if we want to be Jay, Rain and Slap. I might change that out to not be Slap, but we'll see. Jaws, Lan and Tama is our sort of water-bound shark stack. And then here we've got Slap Can't Sleep and Rain. And as I say, so what are you? I want to know what you are. No, that's examining the stack. Stack stats. I just need to know precisely what you are. Cycle info. Oh, okay. So no, it is a skull eater. It's not a nut eater. I made Can't Sleep eat skulls, not eat nuts, which is fair enough. And then the other stack, we have Death Kupo, Zaffa, or Zapper. I feel like it's supposed to be Zapper, because he's still meant to be electrical. He's not suddenly turned wind, I don't think. Fairly certain he's not, anyway. But, yeah, it's not the best of nicknames. I preferred the nickname Zapped, but we'll stay. And then Lan! Where is Chibuku? I take it you mean a chocobo. I think the issue is we wanted to use our brand new Can't Sleep. And unfortunately, Mr. Boosh, the chocobo, is a medium creature as well. So we had to decide whether we were Can't Sleeping or Blue Booshing, I'm afraid. And much like last night, Can't Sleep won, and therefore got put in the stack. Let's deal with some Mirage boards, because I suspect we've got a few points. Let's deal with some Slap, and then maybe eventually we'll deal with some Tickle. No, we're not going to actually name something Tickle. Oh, yeah, we'll have Evasion and Sandstorm. That looks fantastic. You feel abandonment issues are coming on. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. The one crucial thing we can do at all times still is ride on your head. So you're always present. In your Chocobo Chick form, you're able to wander around behind the party. And in your Chocobo form, you're a key instrument for wandering around. So, never fear. You're always an important member of the party. Now let's deal with my Mirage boards after all. Right, let's see. 3 points. It's plausible, so we should at least have a look. Flare Star for 5 points and Blaze Spikes. I think I might save up for Flare Star, because I mean it's called Flare Star. It sounds incredible. So now I'm forced to carry you around while CSMP gets to sit on your head. Yes. Yes, indeed. That is correct now. No, 2 points isn't going to be enough. 0 points is definitely not going to be enough. Yeah, I mean, we might as well get a starting point there. Not going to get much else done in that one. Nothing for you. Probably nothing for you. The maybe for the free of a bomb. Self-destruct. Not optimal, but still. Oh, do we want Bombino or King Bomb? We'll have King Bomb first. We'll probably try and get both, but for now we'll just get King Bomb. The Bomb King. Must paint. We must paint back in the fray. But yeah, here we go. Can't sleep. What can you do? I need 1 more point for you to become brave. Incisors. So he can eat things, which makes a degree of sense. He was a skull eater after all. But he is just, look, you can just see him gnawing away at the skull. Also has a knuckle duster on his towel, which is just incredible. I don't know if I'd finished off. Yeah, looks like there's not enough points to do anything with them at the moment. Let's chat to Lightning. He looks lazy. Oh, he can't be that lazy because he can't sleep. So you'd think that would lead... Actually, it wouldn't lead to more productivity. I know that from a fact. When I have not been able to sleep, it doesn't always lead to productivity.
Surprising. I never thought the giants from the hills would have so much trouble crossing a desert.
Oh, so then you've heard of us.
I think everybody in this world has heard of us.
Why are you so happy about that? Trust me, we do not want fame. This'll warm you right up.
I think it must just take it a while to eat the skull.
Oh, I think for you.
Or it just likes sharpening its teeth on the skull. It just gnaws at it a little bit to sharpen its teeth for other things. That looks dangerous.
The keys from the prophecy? Interesting.
Also, I'm curious why we're suddenly our Lilikin form, but still.
So you've heard of them? I don't
Did it
suppose you
actually
can tell
state
us
that?
more.
There are 4. Earth, fire, water.
I think we've got the
and
fire
shadow,
one,
if I
right?
remember correctly.
You wouldn't also happen to know where the keys are hidden?
Is something wrong?
Oh, sorry. I've never heard exactly where the keys might be hidden. But listen,
I might know something about that.
Oh, hello. Who are you? Oh, just the
The
woman,
key
right?
of Earth lies in the cradle of Mako's light.
Oh,
The key of tides, that one lies in the temple in the deep.
Marco is, I
Key
believe,
of
the energy in
shadows
Final Fantasy
lies in the land
VII.
of naught but
Yeah,
night.
fairly certain is.
Oh, that sounds nice and specific.
wait. Is that from the Crimson Prophecy's missing verse?
Yes. You know much, traveler. Time out. What is this missing verse?
Well, it's probably a verse.
They say that part of the
That's
original prophecy was omitted
missing.
from subsequent copies. However, to be able to read that,
Oh, I haven't read it myself. I heard it from someone who has.
And Bahamut's castle? You, probably don't know that much.
How would you know where that is? I don't know. But there are whispers. What?
Seriously?
Really? Yeah, I
This
definitely
is
want to go
only
now. I
a
like
rumor,
whispers.
but
Especially Whisper
they say
Gold.
the castle you seek,
Jokes.
the domain of the heralds and their king, lies past the Crystal Tower, beyond the path of the gods. Heralds? So then, the king who founded Bahamut.
Cool. So, all we have to do is get those 4 keys, and then haul Heine over to the Crystal Tower, am I right?
Yeah, from the sound of it.
You also now crave whispers.
All this reassuring info is making me sleepy.
Don't yawn, Lon. You're making me yawn too.
I must admit, I'm on the verge of yawning as well right now.
Turn in here for the day.
Yeah, okay.
That is slightly suspicious. I'm now slightly suspicious of your Coco.
Night.
I think Lightning might be suspicious of your Coco as well. We may just need sleep, in fairness, but there you go. I don't think Lightning's fully asleep. She's always in a mood, Lightning.
What is that noise?
Someone's pulled the chain, flushing this world down the toilet.
That chain.
Federation. What are they doing here?
I don't know. Asking everybody if they're living long and prospering.
We were careless. The drinks last night.
I told you they spiked the cargo.
Dude, my body. I can barely. No heroics, please.
I thought... It's interesting. I recognised a castle moving from under the sea. Under the sand, even. You fucking idiot. And yeah, Edgar is another known Final Fantasy face, for those wondering. Unfortunately, Lightning's a bit too out of it to save us this time. This time we're going to save you, Lightning.
Hey now.
You're an all-star.
Certainly
Get your
no
game
way
on.
for us to
Oh.
trade. Or as I frequently say, the churl never gets the girl.
Rubbish.
Who's the knight?
I always quite liked Edgar,
Federation.
despite his
else could it
clear
be?
and blatant flaws of character.
I believe our arrangement said the giants were mine to attend to.
Attend to?
And I believe his
That
brother is
sounds
Sabin, and I've
awfully
mentioned Sabin
churlish to
before,
me.
because I believe the wrestler Chris Sabin named himself
See,
after
you
the
may
Final
be
Fantasy VI
giants, but
character
my attention,
Sabin,
I say for
because the
real
Final
brothers.
Fantasy VI character Sabin was a character he liked, I suppose, and but I'm fairly certain Sabin in this game, in Final Fantasy VI, used wrestling maneuvers as his ultimate sort of limit breaky type thing. I don't think they were called limit breaks in
Let's try
6,
to
but I
keep
might be
things
wrong.
Civil, if you don't mind. Please don't
Similar
struggle.
system, the sort of
What?
desperate
What's
moves
going
type
on?
system.
I don't know.
Oh, don't spank me with a spear. I mean, arguably, it's probably better than the sort of the alternative to what you could have done with a spear from behind, but, you know, nonetheless, we don't really want either one of those. But yeah, so I've got Lightning's medals now, so at some point, next time I head back to the old Nine Hills, isn't it? Next time I go back
Chapter
there,
14.
I can hopefully get
Lost
Lightning.
powers.
The girl who forgot her name, yeah. I can't remember. And it might be one of those systems that takes far too much effort. I know I'm very lazy when it comes to gaming.
What's this?
Main story, and I'm done,
I
thanks.
think so.
But
Are
it depends
you
on how much of a
okay?
ball ache it is. But I don't
Yeah.
remember if you ever find out more about the girl who forgot her name. So I can't remember if we'd ever actually find out her name and therefore give her name to
What's
her.
this
But
place?
we'll find out eventually. So I'm assuming this is the irony that I don't remember. Yeah, I forgot all about whether you get to keep, whether you get to tell the girl who forgot her name. Oh, he's a miserable bugger. In fairness, I know exactly which one I'm supposed to be talking to. It's the guy who's got an exclamation mark above his head. But I just want to double check these lads here. Nah. But I think we're in the bowels of Edgar's castle, which is under the sand. And as I say, that was a distinct thing that happened in Final Fantasy VI. He did have a castle that travelled under sand, which is what I was going to mention it as the castle was coming up, but then I thought, nah, it's probably not.
Do you
I should have
know
known better.
where we are?
Giants, eh?
I don't have to be a giant.
Now, what did you do to get thrown into this?
Do you
sorry
want me to
place?
be a Lilikin?
This is a prison situated beneath Figaro Castle.
I wonder if you're something specific.
Really?
I keep just
They call it
keep just
prison,
finding characters
but
and
it's
going,
more like
are
a
you
death
significant?
sentence.
That
Are
can't
you
be.
of
There
significance?
must be a way out of here.
Hey,
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? But you
I
can
just
forget
keep
about it.
questioning
You
their
won't find
worth.
any human guards, 'cause much worse
So
is on
harsh.
patrol. Sentient machines that hunt down all who try to escape. Just surviving down here is a small miracle.
Sentient machines?
They're not mirages?
How's a lowly prisoner like me to know? But I suppose that they must not be. When the King of Figaro stumbled upon this place some
Figaro,
years ago,
Figaro,
he decided to enlist
Figaro.
help from folks at Shinra. But then all the machines that
I think
Shinra
you can
brought
get...
in,
Yeah.
they started
Oh, so
attacking
Shinra
people, as if they had minds
is
of
Final
their own.
Fantasy VII.
Ultimately, the site was abandoned, and now the worst of Figaro's
I think they also
criminals are
reference
sent to
Shinra in
rot.
Final Fantasy X too. But yeah, I'm assuming these aren't necessarily meant to be sort of our bed machines, but they might cross over a little bit.
One more thing.
Which means we might meet Riku
I
again.
managed to stockpile some supplies. Best prices in prison.
Why did you say that so creepily? Anyway, yeah, a couple of potions. How much cash have we got? Oh, down there. Yeah, a couple of them. Antidotes, we're doing alright. We'll grab a couple of them. Grab some supplies there. Grab some supplies there. And I realise there's a certain irony. I'm grabbing a load of supplies, knowing full well that I never use the bastard things, but that's not the point. The point is, I will have them. And I will have them throughout the entirety of the game, and I will never let them go. That is how you deal with items in a video game. You just keep them. You keep them in your possession, and you never let them go. Oh, here we go. A Wargong and a Wobble Stomper. I never leave home without those.
Now that I think of it, the castle did seem to appear out of nowhere.
Yes, this is a sort of undersand castle.
They poked around here, the castle plowed forward, and they ended up having to redraw all the maps. At least that's the story.
But yeah, it was quite fun because I think you did get to sort of pilot the castle as a sort of overworld vehicle for a short period of time. Fairly certain you relatively swiftly got the got an airship of some kind. But I do remember, vividly, one of the first times I played Final Fantasy VI, I took the airship, I think it was, to an alternate area. And I wound up going through a cave. And I discovered that there was no way of just going back through the cave. So I couldn't get back to the airship. So I ended up having to go all around practically the entire world. I had to traverse the entire world to finally get back above the cave I went into, in order to then finally get the airship back and get back on track to actually completing the game. And it was just like, might have been quicker to fucking restart the game. It definitely wouldn't have been. That's why I went to the effort, because I was desperately sort of going, no, I don't want to start the game again. I'm too deep. When you get an airship in an RPG like this, you are too deep into the game to start again. But eventually I did find my way back to the airship, and I think I'd gathered a lot of experience and therefore was slightly overpowered for most of the rest of the game, but still.
Did we lose our powers as keepers?
Well, we haven't lost them per se, we've just sort of had them blocked, I think.
Any ideas?
Yes, we reprogram the machines and get them on side,
But we do have to get out of here.
because I
That's
think
for
that's
sure.
what happens next. I know, spoilers.
Without Tama.
Can't you just embrace the unknown? No, I have to spoil it at all times. Magitech armor. Yes, this is from Final Fantasy VI as well. I think in fairness, a lot of this is now from Final Fantasy VI.
But we've got to try.
Well, I mean, we punch things like we've punched things in the past. In fact, wait, no, that's not. I suppose. All right, you've taken away all my powers. Technically, I've got specialised gems installed in these characters that actually have abilities attached to them. Not all of my abilities rely on prisms and monsters. However, it would seem I'm supposed to lose this battle, because otherwise I think I would have stood a slightly better chance. But I stood no chance there. Why are you using Faith? Okay, the fact that it didn't just continue using damaging abilities makes me think maybe I have fucked up, but there's no way I'm going to be able to win if you've taken away all my abilities. There was a possibility if they'd just taken away my monsters.
I won't.
I can't believe this is it.
So it looks like maybe... Oh, hey! The world best character. Hello, Squall. He's the best.
You the giants from the hills?
Damn straight we are. You're the Squall from the Final Fantasy VIII.
Are you okay?
I'm just sort of taken aback by your majesty.
I'm fine.
Nobody else
Thank
likes
you.
Squall, by the way. Just a spoiler alert.
I'm okay too. Talk about close calls.
It's generally considered that Squall is like the
I'm
worst
Squall.
protagonist in
First.
the series of games ever.
What's this?
But still, he has 2 belts, I know.
Sort of. It's an L box.
I know. I always...
Some modern improvements.
See, I think...
You might say it's kind
I
of
was
like
mentioning
those things
belts
that
and
your
in
keepers
design
used to
last
keep
week,
in
I think,
garages.
but
Huh? You mean
I think he's one of the earliest ones where I have always put that cross belt thing on.
You can just
Always
think of
put
it
that
like
on my
yours,
designs, and I
Only
think it's
difference
exclusively
is that
because of
L
Squall.
boxes are
The only thing he's
for
missing
machines and not
is a lovely
mirages.
long coat,
Capture them?
but
Give it a
he's got
try.
a fur collar. Wondered where I was going with that. He's got a fur bot. You got a fur bot? He's got a fur collar, and that's good enough, I suppose. You can't take Baby Squall seriously. You're going to have to.
Squall, whose side are you on? I don't get why you'd help us.
I'll tell you on the way, but we need to go.
I suppose the chibi style doesn't necessarily give, provide him any favours, but it is still kind of cool. So yes, Magitech armour, sweet. A mechanised suit of armour crafted by fusing technology and magic into one totally cool chassis. It's chassis, by the way. I know it is, just in case. I do the stupid pronunciations, and then I get the paranoia that someone's going to turn around and go, "That's not how you say the word. How dare you?" It's chassis. Cases? No, but I think there's a drink that's something similar to Cassis? Chassis? Cosus? I don't know. No, I don't know what it is, but anyway. An epic tale begins with 3 of these marching through the snow. And that's not the character Snow this time. You can see the lowercase s. But yes, this is the beginning. The beginning of Final Fantasy VI is 3 Magitech armor suits trundling through the snow. Do you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to fit the whole thing, so I think we'll just drop them down to Magitech. But it gets rid of the wrongs. Whoops, not Ma. It gets rid of the misspelling of armor, which I know you've changed the name. Oh, Creme de Cassis. Oh, that's the one. Yeah. Oh well done. Did you happen to know that, or did you look that up? Was your Google flu strong on this occasion, or did you look that one up? Because I mean, I don't know of you being much of a drinker. In fairness. Does that look like I wrote that? Fair, I suppose. I suppose it's the accent that gives it away slightly. Because I can do the accent the other way. I happen to know that's Alt 0233 because I did a lot of Pokemon. So I know that one, but still. We do Cassis and Cola for Cherry Cola. Really? Oh. That's an interesting idea. How fascinating. I probably won't remember, but I'll have to steal it perhaps at some point and try it. Eld boxes are special containers that you'll need if you want to capture mechanical mirages. Oh, Grenadine. Oh, now Grenadine I do know. Grenadine I know. Because what I used to do was a fantastic thing. Super simple, and I'm sure it probably existed before I did it. But if memory serves, it was orange juice, ginger beer, and then a splash of grenadine, because then you'd get basically a sunset in the glass, because you'd have the orange and the ginger beer would mix to be pretty much orange, and then you'd splash in the grenadine, which is of course red, and then it would, because it's as you say, a syrup. I didn't really know that when I was fiddling with grenadine. I suppose I just knew it was thick. I didn't really consider it to be a syrup. It's weird. But I was quite young at the time, so I wasn't exactly completely up to date on anything. But nonetheless, you drop it in and it sort of bursts at the bottom and sort of brings up the red from the bottom of the thing, and you sort of get a sunset looking. You also drink mixing wixard, a mixing wixard, a wixard wizard, wizardy mix. Is that sort of like the magical version of Little Mix? Hello, we're Wizardy Mix. We do songs and magic at the same time. So, Chocolate gets eld boxes. Superb. I will probably need more eld boxes. I need boxes to hold. I need you to eld me boxes. Intriguing. Rumour also has it that eld boxes bring back a lot of memories for Enna Crow. Why is that? I don't know. Eld box technology originated outside of Grimoire, but sometimes the borders between worlds get a little fuzzy, and, well, that's a story for another time.
Me?
You do like... Yes, he's with Seed.
We fight against the Federation.
Seed is quite fun and awesome. Is that... Oh no, that's just the way I came, that's fine. Oh yeah, Quistis as well. We met Quistis previously. She's from Final Fantasy VIII as well. Let's just... I think it's just the old box we've got there. Yep. And now we want to redeploy the stacks, because unfortunately we have lost... We have managed to lose all of our monsters at the moment, which is unfortunate. But there you go. You get a Magitech armor. And at some point in the not too distant future, Lan will get a Magitech armor, because I think I've only got one. Yeah, and at the moment I can joyride it would seem. But I can't Mirage board it, which is intriguing. But still.
So she's in the league.
Woo! Yeah! Sweet ass. So,
That's right.
I didn't mean to use the word sweet ass.
Wow.
I was going to say sweet as, but then I was reading the subtitles of Lass in glasses, and there was too many ass, and so I ended up going sweet ass. But you know, in fairness, this robot, look at it. Whoa, beautiful ass, a beautiful ass robot. Oh, hello. What's this? Oh, what's this coming up the stairs? Is it a searcher? It is a searcher. Watch out, there's a searcher on the prowl. I'm gonna get ya. If you aren't looking for a fight, you'd better hide until it's gone. Or if you want to imprison one, why not let it find you? Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea to imprison it. I don't know precisely how to imprison it, and I don't... Oh, yeah. I don't think I got items for this. I did buy a load of items, but none of them are something to do with finding out how I do. Do you give me... No, you don't. Okay, well, I will just have to make something up, which is essentially I'm going to attack you. There's the presumptunity. It's fine. Let's try and imprison it in our Eld box. Scanning new technology. Did I get the technology? No. Cool. Fire in my face. Not good. I don't like it. Stop hitting me, sir. I'm gonna have to scan you. Scanning for box technology. Box technology failed. Bollocks. Let's try attacking it once more. That'll weaken it slightly more, and hopefully next time. Or it'll heal itself. One of the two. Did you want to be more of a prick? Because if you did want to be more of a prick, there are options. But you do feel, it does feel quite a lot like you've developed enough of your prick level. Yep, no, okay, fine. You definitely wanted to be an extra prick. Extra big. Extra big prick. That's what you're being, sir. For a creature that's tiny, you're being an extra big prick. Yeah.
That wasn't so bad.
It was not so bad, no. It was not so bad. Although it would be better if I'd actually swapped into... so yeah, the searchers do transform into the Magitech armors. Not that I'm going to be able to do that at the moment, but that's not the point. A hovering eyeball that patrols its... Excuse me. A a hovering eyeball that patrols its surroundings, looking for suspicious activity, has been issued a license to search, not to kill. But that doesn't stop it from trying. Don't let a lack of license stop you from trying your damnedest to kill things. Right, what we'll do... I don't know whether I want to do sort of like an ultra-powerful stack, or whether I want to try and do something a bit more sort of split. So who's in the Magitek armor? So, right, first thing we want to do is make sure we drop... Well, let's get out of that and drop you into that form. Unfortunately, I'm missing most of what Squall's telling me, but still, I'll have to just do. And then what we'll do is we'll pop the little searcher on top of Lan's head so that we're a little bit more evened up, perhaps. And yeah, Mirror Jewels, Champion Medals, Mirage Boards, we've lost it all.
Sure
I've lost it all. Yes, it very much is. And it's also destroying the Earth. But,
So
you know,
wait, you mean...
that's because I think Final Fantasy VII was a bit of a sort of... I mean, in fairness, it was probably a little bit before its time in the whole you're using an energy that's destroying your planet sort of themes.
Figaro didn't join the Federation willingly. It's under constant watch. Also, Edgar knew the Federation doesn't do nice things to
Oh, I don't have a... Oh, no, I do have a Zappity Dap. Or do I have a Zappity Dap? I don't know. No, I don't think I do. I'm not convinced I do have Zappity Daps. Most of them are not. Oh, no, there we go. The Searcher does have Zap. Good. I'd been very annoyed had they not allowed for Zap, but still. Free Electro Marbles. And please don't electrify my balls.
What's this job we're supposed to do?
I don't really
Our
want
target,
my
Mako
balls
Reactor
electrified.
Zero. It's swarming with all kinds of dangerous mirages.
But it is slightly weird.
Well, that...
And I suppose it is because they've just done it as a fusion of Final Fantasy. But what I find slightly peculiar is the fact that they've gone for this sort of
It looks like your powers have been suppressed.
Mako Reactor...
we don't...
There we go, I was going to say, let's have a fight. We might as well fight them all. But they're going for the sort of Mako Reactor thing, which is Final Fantasy VII, and yet we're doing it with Final Fantasy VIII characters. Which is slightly peculiar, but not so much. Okay, so Magitek Armor we know reduces... And I don't think I've got another Eld box, unfortunately, but we'll have to wait and see. Just hit everything you can as hard as you can. Will you stop curing? You're being a bitch. Please just accept your death like a good little robot eye. Is there a way to not be a good little robot eye? I see I don't have a return cure. They have cure themselves, but when I capture them, they suddenly lose the ability to cure. You're being an asshole game. Let's twat you in the face, sir. Unless maybe you literally can't... No, you must be able to kill these things, surely. Because that would be silliness indeed. A super powerful beam just killed me, which is not good. And maybe should not have done this bloody thing. Oh well. Testicles. Big testicles. Bugger, buggery buggers. Bugger, bugger, bugger. I think I might have to run away. There is no escape. Oh, excellent. So I might just die here. Good. Pleases me greatly that you've kinda diddled me good. You diddled me hard, you diddled me well. Will you stop curing? You are a bell. I literally don't think I can beat this creature, so this is good news. This is excellent news all round. Please stop being an arse. I need you to stop. I need you to stop. Stop being an arsehole. Nope. God damn you. Why must you be a prick? Why are you being this way? You could try not being this way. Come on, don't cure again. Good, right. Oh, you've just killed my Magitek armor. Excellent. Well, we've now gotten rid of the thing that's curing everything, but unfortunately I don't know if we're going to be able to beat this bloody giant fuck. This giant bag of dicks that's just beaten me. Excellent! That's the sort of thing. Oh, and of course it's a proper game over. Sweet. I don't know how far back we are. Very. Tasty, tasty bullshit. Fuck you and all who came inside your fucking head.
Fantasy.
It's not quite as tragic as it could have been, but it is pretty fucking bad. One lucky thing is you can skip most of this, but yeah, without all of my proper stacks and proper things, we're not going to get through battles here. So I'm annoyed. Let's skip through here and rush through all the battles so that we can get back to where we were. I want to skip the scene. That's the one advantage to this game. They learnt the fact that if people fuck it up, it's, you know, what they want to have happen is for the ability to skip the cutscenes. Every game, every modern game should have two things. The ability to pause a cutscene and the ability to skip a cutscene. Pausing is because some people go, hello, I need your attention right now. And you need to be able to pause at a moment's notice. Skipping is for this situation where you find yourself being shat on by the video game and therefore unable to continue and having to go back and redo everything. I got an eld box. Yes, we know all about the eld boxes. Right, what we want to do is get our stack-ons once again. I'll stick to the stack arrangement. I don't think it was really the stack arrangement that was the problem. It was the cocksucking that the game was doing. Right.
I know who you are.
There we go. Boom.
Quistis was... Oh, she gave us the fast
She
craft.
did give us the fast craft, yes.
Oh, so she's in the League of S. The Lass in Glasses.
I think she did. I'm fairly confident she stated she was in the League of S, in fairness. Or at least I'm fairly certain there was some reference to the League of S while we were ambushed. Fuck off. Fuck off, I was ambushed. Don't be a dick, game. You're being a dick, game. Yes, you're being a dick. Oh, you scored a crit. Oh, you absolute arse. Well, so much for getting the searcher this time. Never mind.
Wow.
This game likes to be an arsehole, be an arsehole to me.
I don't suppose it's
It will be an arsehole for you if you put enough effort in.
Sorry.
Okay,
but
now I
don't
think
she ever mentioned a
we are
waterfall.
going down this way.
It was Edgar, the guy who put you in here that asked me to help you out.
What? That creep? Why?
Yeah, there you go.
You've
I
seen
missed
the
that piece of
anchor
dialogue
that's
last
lashed
time, but
out
nonetheless,
of
this is Edgar's.
Edgar's kingdom.
This is Edgar's castle, and Edgar is a hero, despite the obvious fact that he put us in there. But in fairness, he did stop them killing us,
Are you sure that...
so it's not so bad. Zap it!
Yeah.
Oh,
So wait.
dog shit!
Yep.
Because I didn't get the searcher, I don't have the zap capacity.
To perform a job.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So then why didn't he just ask
All
us?
of the arseholes are gyrating in your general direction.
Also,
I've got another eld box, that's not so
Federation
bad.
doesn't do nice things to its prisoners.
I'm going to have to take a risk and go after that battle again, I think.
Somewhere between life and
Because
death.
I need,
Life and death. Sounds like what that...
kind of want
golden
more
mask said.
creatures on my side. But hopefully this time we can try and do things differently.
let's go.
Except I don't know precisely how to do things differently. I mean, what I need is for you not to be a dick and constantly heal yourself. Or just get straight in the fucking queue. It's handy that Eld boxes... Now, arguably, it's because they're boxes, but... It's handy that Eld boxes are still cubes, so it's not too much of a difference. Will you stop beaming me? Oh, will you stop with the dickheading bastard nature of cock?
Perfect.
Apparently the answer is no. There is no way I'm going to get the heal in here, am I? Nope, of course not. Ugh. You're being a cock, you're being a dick, you're gonna fuck me over again. Right, one of them is in the cube. But unfortunately everything is dead again. Motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucker on some toast. And if you've never experienced motherfucker on toast, then you might want to consider having a motherfucker on toast. It's a lovely snack in the afternoon, motherfucker on toast. Right. Okay. Let's start trying to attack this prick. The idea is reduce the Mirage's HP, although the Mirage appears to have a shitload of HP. Far more HP than I expected it to have, considering the situation we're in. I suppose this is why you're supposed to avoid the big bad fucking creatures. But I didn't want to avoid the big bad creatures because I thought maybe, just maybe, the game was suitably balanced in favour of the player actually being able to win things. But no. I'm displeased if that wasn't obvious. Also going to just sort of skip as fast as I can. Also going to have to use a lot of items, which is displeasing me even more. Please stop being a total arse. Can you just be a part of an arse? I don't know which part of the arse is the lesser part of the arse. Probably one of the cheeks. I think one of the cheeks is the less offensive part of the arse, isn't it? It does the least offensive things. It just sort of sits there and is sort of slightly bouncy. It's usually the hole where, you know, the most offence comes from. Okay, you are now imprisonable. So come on, get in my box. Get in my box. My box is amazing. Give my box a lick. It tastes like raisins. There we go. The situation has been improved slightly. Not by much, but it has been improved slightly. We now have 2 robot bottoms. You are now being called Robo. I don't know if this is going to fit. I might regret this decision of putting the hyphen in there. Yeah, I'm going to regret the decision of putting the hyphen in there, because Robo Bottom will fit. It just didn't fit with the hyphen. I would like the hyphen to be in it, but it nonetheless will not fit with the hyphen. There we go. Robo Bottom. I am Robo Bottom. Dead or alive. You're sitting on me. And this is just a searcher. We'll just call it a searcher. It's my first searcher, so. Okay, so like, what about that? Right, so we're probably going to want to pop the Robo Bottom for Lam, and then because Rain is my kind of go-to gal, she's the one who's going to get the searcher on top of her head. But yeah, it's a shame we can't even sort of do Mirage boards. We want them both in Lilican form. Right, now we've got Zap available as well, which means we can go back and gather a couple more of those treasure chests from above. And because I don't think there's random encounters, we're going to just go all the way back up to the safe point, because I don't really want to have to try and capture all the beasties again if it goes horribly tits up once more.
I mean, they've never been suppressed before.
Once more onto the tits up, my friend, once more.
So
Sorry, I keep interrupting your dialogue because it automatically interrupts as I'm gathering treasure. I should mention, the animation on those treasure chests is really quite nice.
Use the L boxes. And we'll just have to hope for the best. You know, the League of S has an agent on site.
What agent do you have, I wonder?
She can remove the suppressors.
Oh, okay, there's a she.
Possible, but I can't promise you.
Interesting.
Now, enough talking. Let's press
Now,
on.
I wonder... League of S so far has mostly been Final Fantasy VIII characters. I don't know whether they're going to continue that trend, or whether they're going to sort of put someone else in there. Because I can't immediately think of anybody particularly techie in Final Fantasy VIII. I mean, I think Quistis was meant to be the smartest of the team, but I might be wrong. Then I think you had...
You heading out?
Riku from Final Fantasy X was quite techie, because that was kind of the basis of her entire people, is the acquisition of mechanoids and mechs and stuff.
Nice knowing you.
But I'll have to wait and see who it is. But now I'm racking my brain going, who is it? Who is it? I want to know. I did not save that, because unfortunately it was automatically selecting no, and I had to go, oh, I need to actually push it up to yes. Right, now we've saved it, we can be a little bit more blasé about what we're doing, but we're going to still have to be cautious within battles. But the battles in this are predefined, essentially. They are on the field rather than random encounters that will pop, I believe. We may suddenly find ourselves wrong. I think it's slightly faster to go with the Magitech armour, so we are going to go with the Magitech armour. Also, can we have... possibly not if we're joyriding, also not in general. I wondered if we could have one of those searchers on just wandering around with us, but the answer is no. Now see, this is where this section ends up with quite the dilemma at the end, I believe, because you get used to using the robots. It lets you, I think it lasts just long enough for you to get used to using robots and stuff. And then it goes, here, have all your powers back, and all of your mirages back. Enjoy. And then you have to go, oh, well, but I don't know if I want to give up my robots. My robots were good, my robots were awesome. And so you end up having to decide which things you're going to keep, whether you're going to keep your robots or keep your mirages. Not in a full sense, in a sense of what mirages are you willing to sacrifice in order to keep your robots in there with you. Oh, that's interesting. I think that's literally just a shortcut. So if you've captured a searcher, you can just shortcut that instead of going all the way around the long way. But I want to go all the way around the long way because I think there might be a treasure chest. Also, there's another... go on. Let's be daring again. I know. How well did daring end for you last time? It ended poorly for me last time.
This'll be a tough one.
I mostly disagree. I don't think it's going to be that tough. Because I think two hits, now that I've got Magitech armour. There you go. 2 hits with Magitech armour, and we can just win. So, although Lan is super slow. Super duper duper slow. Do 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 do. Which is weird, because I suppose the Searcher might be putting a lot of speed into Rain Stack. I mean, possibly Rain puts a lot of speed into Rain Stack. I don't know her specific stats. High Potion, that's always appreciated. That can go with the rest of them. Oh, Examine. Oh, I see, you can just sort of hide in a bin. Ooh, hey, ooh. We're watching a tennis game. Love 15. Steady love. Right, get out of the bin. Get out of the bin. Not really a sentence I was expecting to have to say today. Would you please get out of the bin? There we go. I told you there was treasure to be had. If you explore every orifice, there's always stuff to be had. Also, there's another little Electro Boy, which we'll try and trash. Because it's all good experience is the key thing. As much as they offer the idea of stealthing the whole affair, it is sort of... It's more efficient in the long run, I think, if you just embrace the idea of getting the experience. Granted, this is a lot more risky because I don't have Tama and therefore can't have the sort of anti-death scenario they put forth previously, but it's... Yeah, still... If you get enough experience, you yourself are your very own anti-death scenario. Diddly-do, diddly-dee, with a doubly-doo-da. Well, he healed himself, but 2 attacks should still kick the shit out of him. Quite like the fact that you get both the bin tennis. Wonderful. Wonderful. Do-do-do. But there you go. Lots and lots of experience for my searchers and robo-bottoms. Electro Marble. I am Electro Marbles. I am Electro Girl Balls. I don't know. It's based on, if you've ever watched The Mighty Boosh, there is a song in that called Electro Boy, where he's dressed up as an Electro Boy, and then he's sort of, on the other half, he's an Electro Girl. And he's very much sort of like, Electro Boy, I'm an Electro Girl. It's quite an amusing song. Let's get back on my Robo Armour. Every time I go for a treasure chest, I lose out my armour because it unstacks off of me. Which is not... Oh, hello. Well, so much for hiding in a bin this time. They were in front of the bin.
This looks like
Cheeky buggery. Cheeky buggery indeed. Right, let's... The easiest method, I think, is going to be trash these searchers first. And then focus on the magic to armor. Essentially, I probably will have to start healing myself as well, which is not optimal. It's an annoyance, as is most of this game. Oh, that's not technically true. It's just the most annoyance part is A, the fact that he got away with doing that. That's quite bad. But also, I need... To get rid of those things fairly permanently, I need 2 attacks in a row, and I was not getting 2 attacks in a row then. Him having faith is probably bad news, but we'll try and ignore it as best we can. For those unaware, you would have potentially learnt this in Final Fantasy 13, because I explained it there as well, I believe, but the faith buff raises their magic strength. So essentially any spells they chuck out will be far more potent. You have Bravery is the strength version, and Faith is the magic version. So if you need to boost your magic, you gotta have faith, the faith, you gotta have faith. And that's basically how you do the battles. There was a lot of it available in Final Fantasy 13, because the way that system works, it did encourage a lot more sort of status buffing with the Synergist. Whereas a lot of the others, it's nice to have the buffs, but it's not always quite. Sometimes it's better to just take the turn to pummel the enemy, as opposed to taking the turn to set up yourself for pummeling the enemy next time. Depending on the enemy, really. But if the enemy goes down in 2 attacks, or 1 with faith, it's still 2 turns. Because you set up faith, then you attack. It's dead. Or you attack and then you attack again. It's dead. Now, that's interesting. Oh, I see. I think that's just a sort of... Yeah. So I think I know which staircase I want to take, because again, I'm going to take the long way around. So we're going to take this staircase here, because it will take me the long way around. Unless I'm mistaken, in which case we'll have to go back upstairs. But that's just the way it is. Yeah, we want to check here, because it's a dead end. Yep, no, it is just a dead end. Fine. Don't give me a secret treasure chest there. You have to check, though. As much as it irks me when they don't put a secret treasure chest down, it's... you still have to check. They just apply disappointment.
Right. Let's do this.
The unfortunate status ailment, disappointment. Now this is going to be, hopefully, a cheeky little kill, and that way I'll only have to deal with one of them attacking me. Excellent. I might end up distracting him by him curing himself, and then I'm going to have 2 attacks in a row. Not quite the 2 attacks in a row I wanted, but, you know, it didn't make as much difference because he didn't do any damage to me because he got distracted curing himself. Which was his stupidity. Oh yeah. His absolute stupidity. I'd be interested in them doing another game with Magitech armor, perhaps. Like, they could do a really fun sort of mechanical magic sort of action piece, but not as like a main series game, but as a sort of bonus game from Final Fantasy. Anyway, the reason why I was quite so finicky about my positioning here was I just wanted to highlight what I was saying earlier, which was the pleasant animation for the treasure chests. That little sort of bounce and then open is really quite nice. It displays the sort of principles of animation quite well, that whole bounce and open. It's very clever indeed. Where in the shitter am I? Okay. That's the other set of stairs that we didn't want last time, and then that's the dead end again. I'm just going to double check. As I say, because there's no random encounters, it's not so bad just double checking these things, but that should be exactly where I thought it was. Marvellous. Down the stairs we go again, and now further down the stairs. This does actually remind me, and I'm loosely guessing it's perhaps intended to, but it, rather than the prison, I don't remember a prison in Final Fantasy VI, so it might just be reminiscent of one in Final Fantasy VI, because it might be the prison from the castle in Final Fantasy VI. But it reminds me a lot more of the prison you find yourself in Final Fantasy VIII, intriguingly enough, which, you know, there is an argument, a distinct argument, in fact, some would say, to suggest that's deliberate, perhaps, considering you are running around with Squall in a level that is highly reminiscent of a Final Fantasy VIII level design. I'm just going to recharge my health bars because this guy's going to do a shed load of damage to me, I think. Also, that's the wrong target, which is a nuisance. Also, you did it. Oh, you're not going to do it in one this time, though, are you? Oh, good. I think I was too busy looking at my health bars to see whether I should have captured that searcher. Actually, oh, too late now. It's too late for apologies. It's too late. Do all your songs have something to do with like something rude? Because every time someone hears the alternate lyrics that you've created for songs, it's something to do with jizzing in some fashion. Yes, I think all my songs end in jizzing, don't they? Yes. They're the Starman wanking in the wind. It's how he forms a blizzard. He just wanks in the wind. And then, of course, it's too late for apologies. Which is what happened when he's when the Starman's been wanking in the wind. Get your electro marbles. Yeah. If you were wondering, electro marbles just electrocute the enemy. You basically use a basic thunder spell. Although, strictly speaking, of course, thunder is the noise, lightning is the zap. So, technically, where Final Fantasy always call it thunder, and thundara, and thundaga, they are, in fact, technically speaking, wrong. And I'm terribly disappointed in you, Final Fantasy. I'm not, in fairness, I'm distinctly not overly disappointed. Whee, another treasure chest. Good. A lightning marble. Oh, there was a shortcut here. Oh, well. Again, I don't think I actually achieved anything going the long way, but I like to be thorough. I'm a very thorough person. I do very thorough things. And if you think it's unreasonable, then I'm going to tell you it's a thorough affair. Because that's just a different word.
Dude, it's on.
Oh, dude, it is definitely on. My dude is on. You wouldn't believe how much my dude is on. Okay, that's a shame. I actually intended to capture that, but I insta-killed it instead. And that wasn't really my choice. So actually, that's not doing that much damage anymore, it would seem. We have reached a point where my stats are now in line with the enemies, so it's not quite as hard work. Still relatively hard work without all my special abilities. Do I want another one? No, not really. It was almost tempting, but the only creature I could do with a second of would be the Searcher. And that's just to absolutely maximise my stack capacity. But having 2 of these things is not optimal in the long term, certainly. It's exclusively this short-term area where having multiple of the same monster is quite useful. Traditionally, I would only ever prefer to have singles. But, as I say. Although, having said that, you can get multiples of the same monster, of course, when you transfig monsters. You don't have 100% control, or 100% knowledge, I suppose, is more the point. You don't necessarily know what's going to be able to go into what, although it's fairly obvious, actually. I don't know. I'm trying to make a point, but I don't really know what the point is, so the point is flailing. Oh, I need a flappy monster. And I see that's where Must Paint comes in very handy. But unfortunately, we have lost Must Paint. We are unable to sleep, we are unable to paint, and we are unable to blue our boosh. Oh, big pew pew cannons. Intimidation cannons go. Bang, bang.
This one looks a lot nastier than the others.
I like the tri-tread base there. It's quite nice. Also, I suppose we can't actually scan it. And quite an ominous title, isn't it, really? Hello, I'm Death Machine. And I have come to you today to introduce you to the death. Once again, I can't really do anything, but I suppose we've got a lot of these lightning... Well, not lightning... Well, I could use the lightning marble, but I think it might be better to use the lesser one. But in a tradition of Final Fantasy, machines are almost always... I don't know if there is an exception, but machines are almost universally weak to electricity, because that's kind of their thing. Much like bugs, it's one of those nice sort of... And this actually sort of is kind of a universal premise for the most part, because what you tend to find is, in most of these games, if you see a bug, your instinct can easily be, burn it with fire. Oh, it's not great news, a retaliatory missile. Don't really need that in my face, but never mind. And machines, again, almost universally across... And I don't just mean Final Fantasy RPGs, I mean RPGs in general. You can easily take this knowledge and put it into a different RPG. But machines are weak to electricity, which does suggest I should probably continue the electrical barrage, but I don't really want to use too many more items. And I know you're a silly sausage. Use the most efficient tools at your disposal at any given time. I will, assuming I have a plentiful supply of those tools. The basic attacks will suffice for now. Especially because I think we've just won, which is not too bad. Oh, okay, no, it's still alive. I'm still alive. It must be scraping by on like 1 health. It's a real shame that I don't have the scan there, because I would love to know precisely how much health it has. And the fact that you just missed is hugely annoying. There we go. Finally. Finally, someone with competence. Competence. Lightning marbles. And armor gems. So we should be able to buy that lightning medal in the not too distant future. I mean, I'm happy to have a go, but I think it's probably time to leave.
Have I drawn enough thunder? Yeah, the other agent is up ahead.
That might seem strange if you don't understand the mechanics of Final Fantasy VIII. There was a system called Draw, and what you would do is you would draw out magic from the enemy. And
Are you serious?
it was quite an interesting system. It was very easily abused in terms of how you could draw. The full system was draw and junction. And it had flaws, both in, as I say, it was very easy to sort of overpower yourself. Well, I'm going to be getting that medal as well. That's going to be equipped immediately and possibly never taken off. I said that about Sephiroth and I took it off to show off some of the others, but still. But yeah, anyway, the draw and junction system, it had a few major flaws, but I'd love to see them sort of have another go of it, because it was an interesting idea. Basically, what you could do was every enemy had a stock of magic within them, and what you would do is you draw out that magic from the enemy and store it yourself. And then what you could do is junction it to your statistics. However, you could max out your attack strength fairly easily with Squall. And eventually, now granted, I think you could do it really early on if you know the exact method and the exact locations. You could abuse that completely. But I don't. I just kind of plodded through the game, essentially. But even I eventually got to a stage where I held such high strength that I could basically Renzakuken everything to death instantaneously. Because my strategy was, the way the limit breaks worked was all you had to do was be on a threshold of your maximum health. So if you put a load into your health and then a load into your strength and then kept Squall at low health, you could then keep... Oh, Shulk. I don't recognise Shulk as a character. I'll have to look her up,
Wait, something's not right.
see some information about her, because I don't recognise her from a specific game. At the moment, at least. Interesting to know where she's from. Anyway, what you could do is you could always be on the threshold of death with Squall, and that would allow you to permanently Renzakuken. And because you could permanently Renzakuken, you basically just killed everything because your strength was so high and ridiculous that you just bam, 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 and it's dead. Shock Spear. As opposed to Shakespeare. I'm fairly certain I was supposed to die because I stood no chance. But it's always nice for them to sort of distinctly register that you're not supposed to win a fight.
You are going to die.
If I look dead to you, then guess again!
Yeah, not quite. That's a shame. Still not quite got my powers back. No, you just saw your brother do exactly the same mistake.
Good. That's more like it. Countertech deployed. There is no method they can utilize that I can't neutralize.
I think this might be the tech friend, yeah.
Wakey the wakey wakey!
This is the one Squall mentioned.
Tama!
But I don't recognise her after all.
Glad to see you.
I vaguely recognise the design from this game, I think. But I don't recall where she comes from originally.
When I realized I couldn't reach you.
Well, there's some things, in fairness, we can't fix with Lan, but, you know.
We need to keep going. Oh, isn't Shellcare the completely amazing? She's the with the, oh, that's the right, the League of S.
I knew it. She is the other agent.
So, are you done? Because we need to keep...
She did? I think that it's called counter the tech. Any the way, it can take any the kind of magic or technique, any of the move at all, and completely nullify it.
Yes, that's right.
Whoa, that's so cool!
And that's the what she used to remove your suppressors. Although, she wasn't sure it worked, so she was kind of the freaking me out.
What? That is not true at all. I was completely in control.
If you ask me, she's a champion. How can you not love her? Am I the right?
You sure are. Thank you for the help.
Yeah, you're the bestest.
I don't have time for this. We are here.
I feel it feels oddly patronising being a giant looking down on her and going, "You're the bestest." I don't think she needs that. I think it would have been more polite if we'd perhaps gone into our sort of lesser forms. But anyway, do we have all our... Well, we've certainly got Mirage boards back. Do we have all of the rest of the stuff back as well? I don't think we do, in fairness. No, we will need to completely rejigger everything, it would seem. Which is slightly annoying. Although we do have our boards, it would seem. So, who are you? You're the searcher. Yeah, I probably won't. Well, I suppose we might as well do them all for now. But I suspect the next save point we will rejigger everything. So there's Zap, there's Stroll, there's Cure. A little bit of Libra in my life, a little bit of Libra up my wife. Don't you dare put it up my wife. That's my wife, how dare you. 42 or higher, nope, okay, that's fine. 44 or higher, nope, that's fine, we can't do that. And then, oh, we already own that one, that's fine. And then the Magitech armor. Anything we can do with that? Nope. But we can do Magitech armor for this guy. Oh, I see, the Death Machine is the next version of this side of things, which might be quite nice. Oh, sorry, I got a little bit ahead of myself. But yeah, there you go. There's the Death Machine. Death Machine activated. But we'll probably keep Robo Bottom instead of Magitech, just because it's got a slightly more unique name. But precisely who we'll get rid of in favour of keeping Magitech, I don't. Robo Bottom, I don't know, to be honest. But still. Although, having said that, of course, Magitech is clearly slightly higher level, isn't it? Yeah, by 1. Am I fussed enough to let that make a difference to me? I don't know. Right, anyway, let's get back on. We'll do a little circuit here and then talk to Shulk. I realise there is a question, why are you doing a little circuit? But you can see it off in the distance. This is why I'm doing a little circuit, because I knew they would have a little treasure chest. I knew they would have a treasure chest. Because it's a long old path to absolutely nowhere. So we have to have some reason for it to exist. We're going to do another little circuit, but only a little one this time. It's a little circuit, and yes, they hid another treasure behind the stack. Ooh, they're cheeky with their little treasure hidings, aren't they? Hello, let's talk to you again.
Can we go? This job won't take care of itself.
No, that's fine. We can take care of this job. Marco Reactor 1. Oh, 0 even. Freaking read numbers a bit. So we've got most of our powers. We've also got one of those doors, which is quite nice. That means we can pop back, get our medals for starters, and rearrange and rejigger. Oh, I see. I will possibly need to keep this searcher. Let's have a look. That's going to be interesting. Does our Zappy friend... Right, we don't really need Magitech anymore, so... I'll tell you what, we'll get the old favourites out first. So Mr. Blaboosh, we'll get Mr. Tama out, because Tama's usually quite useful to have on hand. We'll get Mr. Must Paint back out there. And we will get Mr. Can't Sleep out. And now we'll have a little bit more of... We'll have a few more decisions to make, essentially. Well, I think I like Jaws, so we'll get Jaws out as well. And then... I only just had Slap, but I must admit I've got no real allegiance to Slap whatsoever. I do have an element of allegiance to my big dragon friend, who is also named after me, so makes some degree of sense that I would have some bias towards that one. Moogle, we always... Is that Death Goopo? Yeah, we like Death Goopo. You, Zapper, is the one I'm curious. Do you have the ability to zap? Now it's I must admit, that's very intriguing. Let's do a little test of some kind. So we'll ditch Searcher.
Oh yeah, this the one is called a zap symbol.
Yeah.
As you might have guessed.
Okay, so no. Zapper, in his Zapper form, is unable to actually zap things, which makes a degree of sense, but is also quite annoying. But I suppose arguably we already know a guaranteed creature that's going to have Zap, which is the Searcher. I'm tempted to have a look and see if we can't find another one that might possess it. No, we don't really have any other sort of properly electrical things. So I guess we will just pop in the Zap, the Searcher monster, which I suppose will suffice. I'm slightly biased towards having the Behemoth out. But let's just have a look round at some of my other options. We were having the Bomb out and about for a bit, but I'm not that biased towards a Bomb. Although it is an iconic monster, so I'm sort of slightly biased towards it. No, we'll have the Behemoth. And I'd possibly be slightly tempted at this point, maybe. Just leave a gap. Leave a gap open to catch a new monster. Well, having said that, I can just refill it. So we'll bring out Death Skull again, because I like Death Skull. And now let's deal with our stack setups. So this one, you can continue having... Oh no, you might as well continue having Robo Bottoms, since you were having Jay, weren't you, previously? So I'll tell you what, you have the Behemoth, because we've not popped Behemoth on top of anybody just yet. But you can have the Searcher on top of your head, and you can have the Kupo back, because you and the Kupo have formed a fast friendship. And then what we'll do is we'll pop... there we go, we'll pop Can't Sleep back in there, since he was doing lovely things previously. And then, yeah, unfortunately, I've run out of sort of smalls. I might need to look into putting more smalls in the team. Zapper, I think, there. And then really we want sort of... We'll have Tamma in that grouping. I might need to look into getting more small monsters. Let's have a look. Might be a case of ditching them Death Skull. Yeah, we'll ditch the Death Skull in favour of another small. Can I actually... Yes, I can. Sort them by size, please. So all the smalls at the front. There we go, this is it. So Slap wasn't too bad, in fairness. Chili Flaps. Got some trousers on, for crying out loud. Lucky Toad, Pingu, White Knack, Rocky, Wendy, Ezio, Corrigan, Mel. Go on, let's bring Slap out again. I didn't mind Slap, so Slap, get on top of, I believe, Rain's Head. Yes. So once again, in fact, we have gone back to Slap Can't Sleep, which is fair enough. So I guess for now what we'll do is maybe... I think we might stick in our Lilikin forms, because I quite like the idea of using the Behemoth. But one crucial thing is we definitely want to save it, so if you could let me save, thank you, marvellous. This is what I was talking about though, when you finally get access to all your powers again, you have to make decisions as to what shit you're taking with you, which is always slightly awkward. And what I wanted to do was pop back here, go to the girls' tea room, and this, if you were wondering who she was, I mean we've seen her several times before, but this is the girl who's forgotten her name.
Hello.
Hello.
What now?
I don't know. I'd like to trade in armor gems, please, because I'd like Lightning and Squall, I believe. So yes, Lightning's champion medal and Squall's championship medal. Ba-ba-doo! And I've not been worrying too much about the jewels at the moment. Do we want to start intervening again? I mean, I've got a few armor gems, so I could technically have a go, but we'll see. So, completed. Underdog Day. Long-standing pirate tradition at rank 2. Hunt down some treasure, rank 2 again. And Bridge of Woes. I'll tell you what, yeah, go on, let's do these rank 2s. I would think I can, but I cannot guarantee this. I'm not sure. I think if you spend the armor gems, you can have a go as many times as you like. So even if I lose, it's not too much trouble.
It's Underdog Day, Koopa!
Aye, when any pirate can challenge his betters. Only the strongest can captain us. Do any of you have the pom-poms to dispute me?
Today is the day you answer to Kemma, Kubo!
Oh, well, aren't you full of fire? So what have you got for me this time?
I've seized the most ancient forbidden spell, Kubo! Captain, your shark bait, Kubo!
I'm legitimately surprised they didn't call this level Under Mog Day, considering the usual sense of humour that comes from these games.
That's it?
Kubo? That's strange, Kubo. Oh, it was Kubo Bo, and not Kubo!
Ifrit!
Who's there? Which of you wretched fools summoned me away?
I was not expecting Ifrit. This is alarming.
Don't you Kupo me, fool. You didn't know what it was?
So you're the one? Dragged me to this place?
Just hear me out for 1 second, Kubo!
I do love that design of Ifrit, though. Even in his sort of slightly cuter form. He looks absolutely majestic there. I think my favourite Ifrit might be Final Fantasy X. I must admit, I'd need to see every single Ifrit again, but the Final Fantasy X one is one that sticks in the brain.
This ship of yours, all of you.
And I think he is sort of loosely based on Final Fantasy X's one, but I might be mistaken.
But that isn't fair, Kubo! If it wasn't for me, you would be...
I suppose they're all based on the original Ifrit, to a certain extent.
Only the strongest can lead this pathetic crew.
But they do get a bit of an overhaul every now and again.
We begin.
Ha! As you wish.
And it is almost a shame they didn't include Ifrit in Final Fantasy XIII as a sort of major player. I think the name was referenced at some point, wasn't it? But you had...
When did you little half-pints get here?
Well, is it Underdog Day or isn't it?
Can't remember it now. Hildegard, I think, wasn't it?
Be ready to prove it?
So... do we have information yet? No. So I think the first step is, of course, Libra. Okay, so fairly predictably, he absorbs fire, whilst also being weak to ice and water. Not that I necessarily think I've got much in the way of ice or water, although having said that, I apparently have beam cannons now.
Underdog Day anyway. Dark Horse Day would sound 100 times cooler.
I guess that's
Also,
a reasonable question.
Ice damage,
When did you learn a
so
fancy
Sovereign
expression
Fist
like Dark
immediately.
Horse?
Since we're in Grimoire, wouldn't it have to be Dark Chocobo Day?
Oh, that's a great idea. We could blindfold a bunch of chocobos, put boxes on their heads, and then we can have them race.
Maybe he doesn't even know what Dark Horse means after all.
Why me?
Withering.
Let's show him what we can do.
Go for it. Show us what you can do. It's mostly ice, isn't it? It's many ice things. I'm gonna form a huge amount of ice. Oh, hello. You'll resub once I turn the computer on. Fair enough.
Hello there.
Hello there, General Resubbington.
Fuck me!
Fuck you. Don't resub to me, fuck you. No, I do not mean that, by the way. I do not mean that. There is no pressure to resub in the slightest bit. But certainly I'll be appreciative. But there is no pressure to sub to this. I assure you of that. Right, so we dealt with that. So Revenge Blast. Oh, okay. Well, I've not lost much in the way of health at the moment, so not hugely worthwhile. Thunder and fire, very, very frightening. Fuck me, man, was late. Cross/balance. Interesting. I saw that there was a different cure move, but I didn't quite recognise what it was. Tremors? I don't think Tremors is going to do much for me. No, I mean, he's indifferent to tremoring. So really, yeah, there's not a lot I can do with you. So just do a standard attack. Do a standard cheeky little attack. Also, welcome, Mr. Can't Sleep Must Paint. How are you doing? And what are you doing? Have you been up to anything interesting? So we've got Fire Beam, a Firer, Fire and Fire Beam, not going to do me much good. Wind Rhapsody, not going to do me much good. Magitech Beam, plus, that's not bad. Inflict neutral magical damage. Firegger, that's not great news. Ice was a weakness, so I don't know. I mean, the fact that ice is a weakness, I think means the Ice Beam will be slightly more potent. But we shall see. Pew! Oh, that's a tasty chunk of change. That's what. Oh, hello. That's not convenient. Hellfire is the ultimate summon maneuver that Ifrit is usually responsible for. I must admit, I resisted it, which is quite nice. I don't know whether the Magitech armor might just resist things, in fairness. All good. Chilling on the sofa. Probably paint... Oh, I misread that slightly and thought you were saying... Might probably paint Doodle later. But yes. Paint once she's gone to bed. That's fair enough. Popped into town, made pork and noodles. Nice. I porked a noodle. Sorry. What I'm trying to get to is the Magitech armor. There we go. And yeah, certainly the Magitech armor is bringing quite a lot of resistances, but it does have quite glaring weaknesses as well, unfortunately, which is not great news. Let's rockle at Cure for now. I did paint her toenails earlier. Oh, there you go. So it's not that unreasonable. Oddly enough, it's interesting you said painting her toenails. I did watch a video earlier on from Tabletop Time where they used nail paints, or it wasn't really a paint, I don't think. It was more sort of a particle thing that, you know, some kind of like glittery particle thing they were using. I'm not entirely sure what it was, truth be told, but I'm sure it's probably available over here. They're Australian, so I don't know for certain what they use may not translate completely over here, but it's fairly, you know, a lot of products are fairly universal nowadays, so you could possibly do it. But yeah, they were painting up some kind of... It was a Warhammer figure of some kind. One of the sort of fantasy ones. Again, I can't remember the fucking name of the creature, but still. It was a big sort of librarian with armour type stuff. But not a 40k librarian, I mean sort of an Age of Sigmar style librarian, I think. Slightly Egyptian, but again, I don't mean sort of Egyptian robots a la Necro people. Anyway, the crucial thing is they use these little flaky things that you're supposed to paint onto your nails. They painted these sort of flaky things onto it, and it did give it a sort of crystalline... it was slightly colour shifting for starters, and a slightly crystalline-y look because of the particles and sort of papery bits, but still. An actual librarian with books and shushes? No, not an actual librarian, because this librarian very much wouldn't shush you. I think he would crush you. So it's books and crushes, which is, in fairness, someone's high school, I'm sure. I had books and I had crushes, and that's my high school. I don't know what that was.
Rain and lawn. They sure were a fun pair to have around.
I don't know if you ever get a championship medal of Riku.
More to the right, please?
We only really met her once. I mean, I might unlock it right now, but we shall have to wait and see.
Do you really need to ask? Treasure Island!
So the low seas have managed.
They probably haven't kept secrets. She's probably just wrong, in fairness. There's a lot of now stuff you can use in minis. I've got a varnish. A varnish? I don't know what that was all about, but still. A varnish that works on my Jurassic logo transfers off the nails. Oh! Fascinating, yeah. I was unaware of the notion of using... I suppose arguably I'm fairly simplistic in my approach. Is that mini paint? It is mini paint. I'll use it to paint mini. Thank you. I don't tend to explore too much else, but still. The effect, as I say, the effect they got was very, very good. So what do you use the varnish for? Do you sort of put a finish on your models to sort of trap the paint in? Do you have like a spray for that? Because I tend to just leave it once painted, that's it. There we go. But I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to sort of seal it, I think would be the phrase. Seal it in.
If you say so. Oh, there's the island.
I imagine it gives it a little bit more protection, but I don't know. So far, I've not had much in the way of damage to figures, but then again, they don't, in fairness, get that much use.
Hey, Addie, thanks so much for the ride.
No trouble at all. How will you get home?
Look at all this stuff lying around here. There's got to be some relic that'll help me.
Distinctly not true.
Why don't you take something with you? I don't know what's in that chest there, but it's sure gonna be something good.
Stream Sun the Impersonator. Yep, it's all mimics.
You do that? You're so sweet. Now, get that chest!
I mean, if you two get any closer, you will get his chest. And now I take over. There we go. The varnish is super matte. Super matte game, super matte game, super matte game. Super matte game. So you use it on bases that get banged around a lot. Ah, I see. Don't varnish a lot of models, just brush a bit on pointy out bits. Ah, I see, okay. Right, well, I suppose once again... Actually, no, I think I know what chests do, yeah. I know about mimic chests, so... I mean, really, they've got no obvious weakness, so I think it's probably just twat them in the face as hard as possible, which seems like a reasonable stratagem. What, pray tell, is charge? Recover AP! Oh, and in fairness, right this very moment, I could do with a P. So I will have a P. Yes. How? Oh, I've just spotted what he did. Yes. He wrote crisps backwards because you eat them backwards. Right, let's have... oh, I don't really know. I don't think I'm weak enough for Revenge Blast still, so probably not worth it. Ooh, magical damage to all. Tremors. Bang, bang, bang. You don't have any crisps. Oh, no. I decided to get hula hoops this way. Oh. Oh, I decided to have my party fucked up. That's great. Come to me because I treat them right. Oh, dear. But yeah, the reason behind me having hula hoops is slightly sort of odd. It was on, I think it was on, I can't remember if it was Mock the Week or Have I Got News For You. But either way, there was the suggestion. Oh, I see, that's the problem. They're casting instant death. I see. That old piece of absolute horse shit that nobody wants ever in their life because it's cocking, crap, stirring shite. Well, Tremor didn't do much, I don't think, for me, so I'm potentially going to have to try and just focus fire on different things. How's your health bar doing? Actually, surprisingly well. It's the other one that's doing shit. I think Cross Slash is probably the best one. But yeah, I saw it on the news the other day that someone put forth the notion that hula hoops were good to cure. Oh, I mean, that's an inevitability. You know, waggling hula hoops around on your fingers is inevitable. That just happens when you have hula hoops. The reason for me thinking, oh, yes, please, I fancy some hula hoops, was because I saw them on a, as I say, Mock the Week or News. Have I Got News For You? One of the two, I think it was. But the claim was that hula hoops cured COVID, which is just so bullshit. But I can't deny it. It was quite pleasant because it reminded me that I fancied a slight change, and I thought, I haven't had hula hoops for a while. So I thought, yeah, I'll have hula hoops. I don't think they'll cure COVID, but they're tasty. Very, very tasty. So I got myself some hula hoops, which was quite nice indeed. Right, come on, we need to sort this out. Don't fall over again, you... okay, still just about holding on. Please don't... no, good. The one saving grace with... and there's not much in the way of saving grace, truth be told. But the one saving grace with death is the fact that it's very low accuracy. So the odds of you actually succumbing to death are fairly limited. However, still high enough to not want it to happen. I'll tell you what, Forest Nocturne might not be a bad idea. They won't hurt COVID. They won't heal, but they won't hurt it, no. But yeah, that was the motivation, because I saw them on on TV, which in fairness, I have succumbed to that in the past as well. The only reason I tried salt beef sandwiches was because in an episode of Hancock's Half Hour, there was reference to Sid James eating a salt beef sandwich. It's the episode called The Two Murderers, and he's heading up to bed, and he goes, "Oh, I've forgotten my salt beef sandwich. Oh, I can't go to bed without my salt beef sandwich." And so he then goes downstairs and builds himself a salt beef sandwich, thus getting a bread knife in his hands. Hancock pops downstairs and thinks, "What's he doing out there? Oh, he's got a knife in his hands. He's going to try and kill me." There's a bit more to the story than that. It's not literally just he's got a knife in his hands, he's trying to kill me. There's a bit more sort of misunderstanding throughout the rest of the episode, but I'd have to pretty much go through the entire episode to truly give you the full gist. Either way, they get into a sort of mix-up where Hancock thinks he's trying to kill him, and then Sid sort of goes, "He's trying to kill me," and the pair of them think they're trying to kill one another, and a whole farce erupts from that scenario, which is pretty much comedy, really, the comedy. And Jackie Chan uses them to break tables. Now, I must admit, I'm intrigued by the spelling of break there, because there's an element of, is that the correct spelling you're intending to use? Because if that is the correct spelling of what you're intending, that of course suggests that Jackie Chan uses them as like stoppers on wheeled tables, just to make sure they don't move. Whereas I'm assuming what you'd intended perhaps was more he's able to smash tables up to with hula hoops, which is very strange. Is that a reference to like an advert or something that was on? Because I don't recognise the idea of Jackie Chan using hula hoops to break tables.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Despite the danger, you still mean to continue with it?
Of course, she's obsessed with treasure.
It's in my blood.
Well, it's distinctly not, but, you know.
All my treasures need me. I can't stop now.
It's not the intended spelling, fair enough. But the concept of him holding one out to stop a speeding table is amazing, indeed.
Safe and fruitful journey.
Jackie! Those tables are rolling down the hill! They're out of control! Don't worry, I've got hula hoops! Flick, 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 flick. And he just stops them. Yeah, except you have left her, I think, on just like a sort of random island. And I know, like, she's probably going to be fine, but you'd have thought maybe it'd have stuck around and given her a lift to a slightly more populated area. But never mind. Nobody cares. Everything's happy. Everything is happy. Everything is good now that we're here. Let's have a look at the trades. I was just double checking. Is there any new interventions? Anybody else that is on drugs? Ah, yes, we can do a little bit more into Riku. And yes, she does hate lightning. That was one of her key character traits in Final Fantasy X. Because she struggled to get across the lightning fields. Also, apparently she's having a temper tantrum, which is fine.
Chest I find a stupid mimic. Why are you treasures playing hard to get? Help me out here!
So in lots of films, someone gets slammed on a glass top table and the glass smashes because the wood supports the glass. Ah, I see. So he pops the glass off and puts a hula hoop under each corner. They all break at the same time due to the gap. How fascinating! I was unaware of that, but it makes a degree of sense. So yeah, that's quite... Oh shit, I forgot to heal myself. Well, this is not good. This is not good news. But I suppose we're gonna have to live with this situation. Who am I using at the moment? I'm using you. Might be better to use cross/slash there. And then what we'll do is heal with Mr. Larnings. Do you not have... Ah, you do have Cura. I thought you did. If you made a pop vinyl of her, it would be the most accurately proportioned one ever. True. In fairness, most of these actually do run the proportions of pop vinyls. And it's weird. In this, as chibi styles, I quite like them. Pop vinyls, however, I can't fucking stand them. There's every possibility, I suppose, it might be because of the fact that I spent like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. I think it was just shy of 2 years because I didn't get the sort of... I didn't get the full redundancy thing because I... Oopsie doodles. Because I defended instead of attacked, that's the problem. No. I didn't get the full redundancy because of the whole... not having worked there officially for 2 years. So it was just shy of 2 years that I'd worked there. But I was working for... Now, it's Forbidden Planet, but not that one. There's a whole story there as well. Forbidden Planet was run by a couple of people. Those two broke their friendship. They both fought to keep the name Forbidden Planet. They kept the name Forbidden Planet, so there became two Forbidden Planets. The one in London that most people knows, and then the other one that was shit. I worked for the other one that was shit. And anyway, to go through slightly more, that's a crazy looking chest. Oh, it's a Mama Mimic. Good lord, it's shiny and jewelly. It's horrendous. Anyway, so yeah, Forbidden Planet did specialise, and I say specialise in the loosest possible definition of the word specialised. They dealt in, I suppose, is more accurate. They frequently fucked up and never got enough pop vinyls. That was how they worked it. And of course, it's one of those silly little things that
I guess this is what they
like
mean when they say
dickheads tend to collect.
Chess in the
Sorry if anybody here collects them, but it's kind of true. And I don't know. It depends. It's one of those ones where if you just have them and you like them, that's fine. If you collect them, then that tends to be a bit more of a you've become an arsehole thing. And of course, when people don't get the thing they want, and the thing they want is this thing, they can become even more arseholey. And having to deal with these people on the phone and not call them arseholes kind of was difficult. Please stop having them move death! It's a small request, but one you seem to be demanding failure on. So yes, I have a slight bias, I think, against the whole thing of pop vinyls, because I was dipped into the world of pop vinyls and I disliked it intently. Right, what sort of health bar do you have? Quite chunky. What was it? Light. I don't think I've got any light available to me. Not even sort of using my items do I think I've got light damage available to me. I suppose one thing that could work, that's neutral, so that's not too bad. Defense, I think we might go on the offensive and get Sephiroth in here. There's definitely something about them that attracts the dickheads of nerd culture, indeed. Well, I think it delves into that fanatic thing of I have to have this, and if I don't get it, there's no possible way life can continue on, so I'm going to make a huge fucking fuss despite it being a small piece of insignificant plastic, you fucking bellend. He said in his brain, as he was saying, I apologise for the delay this product has, in a dead monotone voice, where you can see the life and soul just draining out of his body. You could actually see it. You could actually see the point where my soul left my body. It was that obvious. Anyway, cross slash will do. But I do, I can't deny I own one pop vinyl. Well, two technically. So, I own two. You can't get around it with technically. Yeah, alright. I own two pop vinyls. One is a TARDIS, which, I mean, they've still managed to, of course. then they've still managed to sort of fuck up the dimensions of the TARDIS, of course, because they make it squat to match the little short fuckers. But nonetheless, it's not too bad. It's a little TARDIS. It's, you know, it's non-offensive, frankly. Non-offensive. And the other one I own is a Winter Soldier. Now, the reason I don't mind the Winter Soldier is because he's a little bobblehead. And I like, every now and again, going up to him and going, bobbly bobbly. And he does. He goes, oh, bobbly bobbly bobbly. And that's why I can accept and enjoy that one. Let's heal ourselves up with the Forest Nocturne, I think. I love the Joker, and so I must have the pop vinyl because other people will have the pop vinyl, the Joker pop vinyl, and I must be as fan as them because I am different. Yes, that is the sort of attitude, unfortunately, that I had to deal with. And yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to sort of work around that, doing emails and phone calls for an entire day, having to deal with people like that. It's very difficult. In fact, some would say it was soul-destroyingly despair-inducing. And the only way you could get through an entire day of doing that is to think of the many different ways you could kill yourself if you eventually decided to. But you know, that's life. And jobs. And why I've avoided them. And trust me, in 8 hours of shitty work, you can come up with some very inventive ways of killing yourself.
I thought I was a goner for sure, but at least now I can finally...
Just don't know what to paint it as because everything has been done. That's fair. That is true.
What happened to all of the treasures?
All of the treasures are mimics. There are no treasure chests here. Give it up.
Well, at least with the mimics
Go home and make something of yourself. Actually, don't, because that would suggest I'm asking you to go get a job. And we've already discussed what happens when you get a job.
And if you're out there, thanks for giving me a helping hand.
Which 5 do you have then?
The big treasure
I'm
hunt
curious.
is on. Ooh, treasure spotted straight ahead.
You'd come up with torture methods to each their own. I suppose it depends on the scenario. I remember back in university we came up with a way of torturing our programming teacher. Because, well, we didn't enjoy programming all that much.
Shall we get started?
Partly because, you know, having to deal with a prick. Which was slightly problematic. There we go. We have finished off all the ones apart from a Bridges Woes, but that's a 5-star ranking, and I don't really fancy the idea of trying that one. Because I suspect it will not go well. But yeah, I remember after one lecture we sort of ended up kind of deciding the many things that could be done to the man to sort of make him as, I guess, make him as miserable as we were, perhaps. But there you go. But yeah, it was unfortunate that we kind of... I do take some responsibility for it, but I also acknowledge that there was an element of absolute bellend syndrome in there. Oh, we've got a bit more information on Lan. Let's have a look. Interesting. Is it the memories bit? Yeah, I think it might be the memories bit. A Porg, a Fluffy Chewy, Toothless, BB-8, Chopper, and Rexy. That's 6. And it's expanding. You're soon going to be one of those people on the phone going, where's my pop vinyl? I need my pop vinyl. Please let me have my pop vinyl. Fuck off. Why don't you go for stick a pop vinyl up your arse? And then you realise they probably have. But Porgs, I mean, in fairness, I didn't particularly enjoy the Porg design in the first place, but Porgs actually came out quite well in the pop dimensions. Because some things definitely did look okay in their sort of weird pop dimensions. And by dimensions, I mean the sizes. I do mean dimensions in the traditional sense of dimensions, not sort of... This is the dimension of pops, which is just a dimension where everybody farts. It might be a hard dimension, in fairness, but I'm suggesting farting more often than us. Anyway, if they had merely forgotten their past, Lan and Rain might have been able to remember it again, but those memories were literally lost and cannot be retrieved. Thus, anything the twins have been remembering must not have been lost. What did Tama mean when she said Lan and Rain could have ruled the world? How did they meet the Pleiad? If there used to be more Mirage Keepers, then just imagine how many Mirages there were. Perhaps brother and sister used to be acquainted with other champions from that other time, but we can no longer relive those stories with Lan and Rain. At least, not from where they are starting now. Ooh. Technically I have a Chris Jericho one, but it's a gift I didn't really want. It's in a drawer. Fair enough. Fair enough. But I imagine, I don't know, Chris Jericho's not too bad, surely. Although he probably looks terrible, but still. They look different. Yeah, the non-human ones tend to get away with it more. A lot more, in fairness. A lot more. So this is Riku, Superhuman Strimmer? Superhuman Strimmer. So if you've got any gardening requirements, Riku's your girl. Also voiced by Tara Strong, who is a very recognisable name in the world of voice acting. I'm fairly certain at some point she's done Harley Quinn, but I might be mistaken. Nonetheless, she is prolific. If you look up Tara Strong, you will be, you could be strolling through her, scrolling even. Okay, but T's and Miss C's are going the wrong way around. I don't know why. Anyway, you could be scrolling through her filmography for quite some time. Marine treasure hunter, after learning how to breathe underwater. Oh yeah, we've done that one. That's fine. Fashion savvy. Although she's about the same age as she was in Final Fantasy X, her outfit resembles the one she had in Final Fantasy X-2. In Grimoire, she still hasn't met Yuna or Tidus. If we ever do meet Tidus, you'll probably hear them refer to it as being pronounced Tidus. I do not like that pronunciation. I do not agree with that pronunciation. I will not use that pronunciation, apart from when describing why I dislike it. It's mostly because when you call him Tidus, it sounds a bit too much like tedious. And if you've met the man, you'll know why he does not want people to call him Tidus. Tidus also makes a lot more sense because he's quite aquatic, based on the fact that he is a blitzball player, which is an underwater sport. So tide being watery makes a lot more sense as well. So he should be called Tidus. He, however, is not. But I will refer to him as Tidus. But if she ever does, they're guaranteed to get along. Gullwings wanted! Riku is looking to make a career out of treasure hunting and has started recruiting members for her team, which she's calling the Gullwings. Riku bumped into Yuna on a recent excursion and immediately took a liking to her. Now if she can just find a way to get Yuna to join up. Also, you would need Pain, who was the sort of Final Fantasy VIII... she was Pain, P-A-I-N-E. She was called Pain. I quite liked her as a character, but she was pretty much just a female Squall. Which I suppose arguably I quite like the character Squall, so no wonder I quite liked Pain, the female version of Squall. Speaking of Squall, howdy doody! He is Squall. He's voiced by Doug Erholtz. However, in Kingdom Hearts, he was voiced by David Boreanaz, the man who played Angel, and he was in the TV series Bones, and was the punchline for the gag The Aurora Borealis in, I think that was Family Guy, or that might be Simpsons, I'm not sure. Anyway, he's a mercenary. He's 17. He follows orders. He's a Seed. I think that's an acronym, but I can't quite remember. But essentially, what they did was the whole thing in Final Fantasy VIII was Seed was the organisation that they were basically soldiers of some kind. They were pretty much mercenary types, I think. And they lived in a garden because the whole area they were in was called a garden. So they went for sort of that theming. But anyway, handily saves Lan and Rain from certain death. Well, you couldn't be certain it was going to be death. So I think it was just death. Seed. Seed is a group of elite mercenaries. There you go. I told you. And I must admit, it was on the screen in fairness, but I didn't read that bit, so I'll take it as my knowledge of Final Fantasy VIII. Whose current primary focus is overthrowing the Bahamutian Federation. Its ranks include such notable figures as Squall and Quistis. both from Final Fantasy VIII. King Edgar of Figaro hired Seed to help free his castle from the Federation's chain. Seed's support was invaluable in this operation, and they provided crucial support to the forcibly drafted heroes of the day, Lan and Rain. And here is, we've just mentioned Edgar. It's Edgar. He's 27 and he comes from Final Fantasy VI. And if you play your cards right, you can have a date with this man. Kind of mixed two game shows in at once there, but still. King of Figaro owns a big sand castle, sort of. Loves the ladies. Yes, he does. The churl never gets the girl. Voiced by a true FF fan. Now that's interesting. That makes me wonder if that is just a statement of fact. And either Ray Chase or Shinichiro Miki, I don't know which, of course, they're referring to when it says voiced by a true fan. Possibly both. But maybe that is, genuine. There is a person out there who went, I'm a real fan of Final Fantasy. Oh, we're doing World of Final Fantasy. Do you want to be the voice of Edgar? I must admit, I'd love to see them redo Final Fantasy VI with today's graphics and sort of modern voice acting and all the sort of modern day orchestral bits as well. Although, Final Fantasy VI's music is still immensely epic and very listenable today. But nonetheless, technology has advanced. And again, don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy VI is beautiful in its pixel form. But I would still like... primarily because both would still exist. Because I could happily play Final Fantasy VI and then also happily play a Final Fantasy VI remade. So, I'm not suggesting it needs it. I would just suggest it would be quite nice. Day after day, Edgar struggles with an ethical quagmire, giggity, from which he just can't escape. On the one hand, he must flirt with all the ladies. On the other, he knows that this can be taken as rude, and one should never be rude to a lady. What to do? Additionally, Edgar still hasn't quite decided where to draw the line between girl and lady. It seems that Rain falls into the former category, and not the latter. The Desert Castle. Edgar's castle rose from the sands with a tremor and a roar. Although its chain-like leash might suggest the Federation had a hand in such a trick, Figaro Castle's ability to submerge is uniquely its own. It's a hell of a castle. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. Lightning. Ali Hillis. I must admit, it's the same woman from Final Fantasy XIII, or at least it sounds distinctly alike if it's not. I didn't know that was the name of the voice actress. But then again, it doesn't matter that much. She does a very good job of voicing Lightning, I must admit. Virtuous, looks out for other people. On the stoic side, genius with a sword. One of this age's greatest warriors, and originates from Final Fantasy XIII, of course. And Shulk, the one I'm most interested in. Oh, that is why. That is why I don't recognise her. Also, I do recognise the name Carrie Walgren. Fairly certain I've heard that voice elsewhere. Somewhere. So she might be another prolific one that has done almost everything. Anyway, age 19, Shinra, soldier, colourless and expressionless, careful planner, uncomfortable with flattery. But this is why I've never really fully recognised her. Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII. That is the offshoot of Final Fantasy VII where you play as Vincent, who is a vampire. And he has a gun. And he is awesome. He is probably one of the best characters in Final Fantasy VII, frankly, because he is, a vampire with a gun. Need I say more than he's a vampire with a gun to display how awesome he sounds? But his outfit is fantastic as well, because it's got the whole gothic vampire look, and it's brilliant. I very much like Vincent. He's very, very good. He shoots the enemies and then he becomes a werewolf. I realise I said he was a vampire, but I think he does have a werewolf form as well, in fairness. If memory serves, I think he has a werewolf form as part of his kit, but I don't know what, maybe it doesn't actually register officially as a werewolf. It might register as just a big monster. But I think it does look quite a little bit like sort of a werewolf. Anyway, I think, no, we've seen the Peachy Keen one, haven't we? Or is it the... No, I think it might be the series regular piece of dialogue we've not seen. Putting the conductor aside for a moment, cactuars in general first appeared in Final Fantasy VI? Really? That is late and surprising. I feel like I may have been surprised by this before, but nonetheless, that's very late in the day, Final Fantasy VI for this, and have made their prickly mark on every numbered title since. They're known for their lightning-quick reflexes and their thousand-needle attacks. Yeah, actually, I do feel like I did read that piece of dialogue, so maybe I was surprised by it last time, but oh well. And I'll probably be surprised by it again, because it's one of those monsters that feels like it's been in Final Fantasy since the beginning. Now, seeing a lot of these, you do realise that most of the franchise's biggest monsters were not in it from the beginning. A lot of them ended up entering in Final Fantasy III. But still. So which cactuar have we got here? Well, if you look at that jerky animation and assume the conductor's soul was brought to Grimoire from the Final Fantasy VIII era, then you might be onto something. So this is meant to be sort of a Final Fantasy VIII-esque one. Anyway, let's go look at the Moogle. And this is series regular again. So yeah, again, Final Fantasy III for these guys. In Artau, conveniently shows up to tell the twins about the keys they need. Does that make him a Deus Ex Machina? Potentially, yes. Moogle's mischief. Most Moogles you'll meet are unrepentant pranksters, and this one's no different. Playfulness appears to be built right into their pom-poms. Yes. Nothing else specific there. Did we not get any? No, we didn't get any further Ifrit information. Nothing else particularly pertinent there. Nothing else there. Superb. But that's all our new people. But yeah, that... I do now vaguely remember having that same revelation with Shulk the last time I played this game. The last time I played this game, I went, where in the world is Shulk from? Only to discover that Shulk is from Dirge of Cerberus. And to this day, I haven't really been able to play Dirge of Cerberus. Because unfortunately, I think it was on the PlayStation 2. I ended up missing it. And then I think it ended up sort of slightly disappearing. So it's not really available to purchase, at least not cheaply anyway, I suspect. And it's one of those ones that's just not able to emulate all that well. Which is always a real shame. Oh, I need to physically examine it, don't I? Oh, I see. I think, yeah. No. You see, yeah, you see the giant 1 and then the giant 2. Yeah, you have to do them in order.
Maybe they have to do with the order we're supposed to zap things in.
Thanks for the condescension there, game. I didn't pay attention, all right. I didn't need your condescending tone regarding which order I'm supposed to be doing it in. Anyway, zappity zaps. We can activate these generators. And now we have a final zappity zap to activate the big machine. And that searcher is going to come in very handy for doing that. Right, we've got a door open there. And that's possible. Although having said that, unlikely. But still, no, it's not. Let's put it this way, it's not impossible that this is not a bonus area, but I get the impression, since as you were encouraged to get searchers, the idea of you having Zap available is probably fairly sort of like open now. So, are you a new dinosaur? No, you're just a Bihydra. I think I have Bihydras. Yeah, I think I've got Bihydras, so we'll just twat it and twat it to death. Goodbye, Hydra. Stop using Faith. Especially you guys using Faith is particularly nasty, because I think we might actually... yeah, just in case they use fire on me, I think it's going to be worthwhile trying to trash these other two. Unfortunately, whether I'm going to be able to do it in one with both characters, nope. Cure, okay, well that's obnoxious, but not the worst of things you could have done. It's annoying having to basically start again on the Bihydra, but it could have so easily used fire, and with Faith. Fire and Faith. That would have been potentially nasty. I can't guarantee how much damage they would have done, but it could have been painful for me. And then possibly painful for you. Hey, counter? We didn't know you had counter in you. Well, I'll take that. I'll take that bag of biscuits from your dead corpse. Right, now we want to just carry on back round the other side. They have given you one glimpse of a treasure chest there, but I don't... Intriguing. There is a pipe below. I'm not sure how you get on that pipe. Okay, you get on that pipe via that broken fence, but the only way to get that broken fence is through this locked door, so we shall have to wait and see if that locked door becomes obviously unlockable in the not too distant future. First things first, though, I think we're going to want to just... Tell you what. I'm riding Blue Bush's head, and he wasn't happy about it. Oi, treasure chest. Oi, fucking mimic. Unbelievable. It's a bionic mimic. There's a mimic jackpot. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll scan it, see it, and hopefully fuck it off. Libra, that bad boy. See if it's got weaknesses. No, it does not. It is reduce Mirage's HP. That's quite easy, because that is officially twat it in the face repeatedly. If you were unaware, that's what reduces its HP. Enough. Okay. So you have Cura, don't you? Yeah, okay. I'm going to need to sort out some of these shortcuts, methinks. Magic attack, boom. Pew, pew, go, bang. It's very Cyclopsian, isn't it, that? Well, he's a little bit more red than pink, but still, just the general effect is a beam, I suppose, which is Cyclops enough. Doo-doo-doo. Pow. Fun fact. When watching the films again, I didn't watch the full-on original films again, I just watched the 4 sort of newer ones. First Class, Day, Tomorrow's something. Days of Future Past, that's the word. Age of Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. When watching them, I realised, and it only really counts for the first 2, I think. Possibly a little bit. I think he was in a tiny bit of Apocalypse, but I'm not 100% convinced of that. Anyway, let's use that cure that I found out about earlier. The person who plays Havoc, who is, of course, I can't think of his name, Mr. Summer. The brother of Scott Summer is Havoc. I'm sure, most of you perhaps knew that. But the crucial detail is entirely unimportant, really, but I'd not realised that it was the man who plays the modern-day MacGyver. Can't remember the actor's name, but he does nonetheless play the modern-day MacGyver. So that's fun. Not a huge... I said it was a fun fact. I think I over-advertised, really. He's an actor. He does acting jobs, so it's not surprising he's appeared in more than one thing. But, yeah. It took me a little bit by surprise, because it was like, oh, yeah, hey, look at that, MacGyver. I'm trying to think of his name, but it's just not quite there. If I saw it written down, I would very much go, yep, that's the one. But unfortunately, retrieving that information from the inside of my brain is just proving impossible at this point. Do my fucking... You really need to get some fucking moves, guys. Because at the moment, you seem to be severely lacking, and I'm not sure why. I will have to look and see. Stop countering, you bastard. You utter dick. Hey, crit hit. Crit hits by going downstairs. Crit hits by going upstairs. Every day you gotta go upstairs, and crit hits. That's a very old reference to Game Grumps, if you were wondering. There's a JonTron song, I think. Although, I get the impression JonTron shat the bed and therefore should never be named again, but... Every now and again he does a new video and they're usually quite amusing, but I get the impression he's meant to be a bit of a dick and possibly racist, which is not good. So, there you go. Probably should not reference his material, but sometimes it's difficult. They get lodged sufficiently in your brain. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And just keep attacking with your claws and laser pew-pews. Because if you look carefully, the searcher does sort of fire off some massive laser pews. Oh, you're using the counter stance, are you? Well, you're a bastard, aren't you? I don't really have a good... I suppose maybe Thunder won't trigger the counter. It did not. Good. Good. We'll use the fire beam, why not? I'll put him on fire with my fire beam. Now that's a little bit more Cyclops. Hey, right, we can try and encapsulate it and grab it. Or we can counter it to death, maybe. One of the two. Go cube. Gather it up inside of the tube. Nope. Not today. Have another go then. We are sure to get it in the cube at some point. However, if it keeps twatting Rain, there's every possibility that Rain will counter its death, which is inconvenient, but... Nope, it's still refusing to get in the fucking hole. Get in my cube. I need you to get in the cube. Nope. Okay, that's fine. I also need... it would seem, because it can counter the imprisoning, he might manage to kill me simply by countering me. Gotta lurk while I put Boodle to dead. It's not a good way round. Not a good way round.
Who's sneaking about?
I very much highly do not recommend that one. But putting Doodle to bed, that's a little bit better. Substantially, actually. By a little bit better, I mean substantially better than the alternative. But yes, that is fair enough. And you are sneaking about, but you can't sneak too much. Although you will need to sneak out once you've put her to bed, I suppose. You will need your stealth skills, else you will wake her again. Well, that depends on precisely what you mean by put her to bed. If it's literally just, here's the bed, here's the child, go. Then you don't need to sneak out. But if it's literally, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Maybe not in the punching sense that Iron Man did it, but nonetheless, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Then at that point, it's perhaps a little bit more sort of, you need to sort of sneak out once asleep. But we don't know. This mimic relative gleams... Oh, yes, okay. This mimic relative gleams and glitters in the light. Its pigtails are actually extendable drills. Considering its faux chest bits are made of solid gold, you could probably cash it in for more than whatever else you thought was inside. But mimics have feelings. They aren't yours to sell. Mimic Civil Liberties Union. Yes, we'll just leave it as its standard name, and then leave it with Seraphy, because I don't particularly fancy a mimic. They're a bit, I don't know. They're okay, but they're a little bit dull as creatures go, I feel. Can we? Do we? Yes, of course, we've got Must Paint back. Which means I can fly across small gaps. I can use my flight powers to cross tiny gaps. It's lucky you've got such strong wings, because you are pulling two small children. Well, I say that, I think they're meant to be sort of young adults. They do specify their age somewhere online, but I can't remember what it is, so... Well, you can't remember what it is, and I don't really care. Right, okay, so we've not got as much in the way of... Oh, I say, no, there is... There's the number 3. I think basically it's follow the wire, isn't it, really? So I think it's just this one, that one. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3 in a sort of very obvious sense. I mean, in fairness, it is pretty much considered a child's game. So the idea of a particularly difficult puzzle is not likely to come on. But still. Let's hit it. Okay, order. I mean, technically speaking, that is an option. I would have very much preferred it not to have been an option, but it is, you know, I can't take it away from you. Missing was, of course, an option. Irritating option. I'd have very much preferred you not to have decided to utilise, but I suppose that's just one of those things. General plan, I think, here is just twat it as much as I can whilst recharging some AP for my boy Lan, considering how much he's used. Although, now you've just pissed me off, sir. So, thunder. I'm gonna use my thunder crackers. And a critical hit. That's why you don't heal yourself, because it angers me. It angers me, and then you will die a death tonight. With my vengeance ringing in your brains. You will wonder why, oh why did I piss this man off? Ifrit Prism. I don't actually have the ability to have Ifrit at the moment. Oh yeah, I needed to change up my summon medals, didn't I? Well, for now, Squall, because it is... Oh, it's more accuracy. That's actually a bit of a shame, in fairness. And I think we'll ditch Snow for now, but Snow's distinctly likely to come back. And you get strength up, but you are 2 stars, the Gestalt Drive, which does make me assume we might see a little bit of Odin in that one. But yeah, difficult to know. And Lionheart is probably based on his ultimate move from Final Fantasy VIII, I'm assuming. I mean, in fairness, they're all based on their ultimate sort of iconic moves, but Lionheart is his ultimate limit break in that, I believe. The limit break in Final Fantasy VIII was, for him at least, I can't remember everybody else's, but for him it was Renzokuken and then a follow-up attack. So he would get access to Renzokuken, he would do the Renzokuken, which is basically slash, 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 and you would be hitting the trigger to try and fire off the gunblade. So you'd be bang, 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 bang as well. Slash, 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 bang, 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 bang. And at that point, you would find yourself sort of finishing up that, and if the enemy had some more health, I think you would do a follow-up with something else, and the ultimate one of those was Lionheart. I believe his gun was also called Lionheart as well. His ultimate gunblade was the Lionheart.
Not mirages?
And I believe his name is Squall. I mean, his name is definitely Squall. By that, sorry, I meant I paused because I was checking the information. His name is Squall Lionheart as well, I believe. Or, yeah, I think it's spelt with an E though, Squall Leonheart. Because I think that's where they get the idea of calling him Leon in Kingdom Hearts. Water weakness. Oh, of course. Water weakness. By Hydra. And yeah, they've got a water weakness as well. Unfortunately, I don't think I've got the water... I've not got like a water gun. Which is more for show. No, I think it's just hit it. Hit it as hard as you can. And remove it. Remove its gonads. Cut off the ghoulies. How do we defeat football hooliganism? Cut off their ghoulies. Well, for a more balanced opinion, we turn to Professor of Psychology. Yes, no, I have to agree with her. Cut off the ghoulies. Cut off their ghoulies. It's Not the 9 o'clock news sketch for you there. I suppose arguably you should probably just watch Not the 9 o'clock news instead of this. It would be far easier and far more entertaining. Let's try and get a little cure on my little stack. That eye just felt like it was really giving me a bit of a sort of, are you sure? Is that what you want to do? I don't really believe in you. I believe in a thing called love, but I do not believe in you. Must admit, I sort of look forward to getting the old Bell's End out. But that's for after the stream. I'm not going to do that right now. No, I was just doing I Believe in a Thing Called Love, of course, and their Christmas song was Don't Let the Bells End. And I actually quite liked that as a Christmas song. It's one of the only good Christmas, like dedicated Christmas songs that came out many years ago now. It's one of the only ones that sort of actually stuck with me. It's a shame though. I think they should do more some more daft Christmas songs.
It's forgotten.
I feel like it's a
Well, at least we know how to imprison them.
it's a missing
For
art.
now.
Why are you a mimic again?
You kidding me?
Absolute assholes. Well, he came from the treasure chest I tried to scavenge, but yeah, I appear to be locked on the island of mimics like fucking Riku was. There's no way this. I also forgot to do the sodding adjustment. Oh yeah, that's not a machine, is it? You twit. Oh, in fact, they have no. Nah, I think it's just hit it as hard as you can. Repeatedly. I'll probably want to use my neutral beam cannon because it's a requirement. Well, I say it's a requirement. I could just keep twatting it, but then again, it just casts Protect on itself, which means some kind of magic damage would be slightly better. I think it is the special beam cannon that I've got access to here. It is magical damage, which makes me wonder if Faith would actually work with it. Don't know for certain, because it's not technically a spell, but it is obviously doing magical damage. It's going to be a moot point now, because I've used all my energy, so it's probably not worth it, but still, just keep hitting it. Just keep hitting it. Just keep hitting, just keep hitting, just keep hitting it. I will continue striking it in the face. Well, it's a hugely inefficient method, isn't it? There you go. You just don't do a lot of damage. Magitech Beam is so expensive. But it is one of the main things that actually does a lot of damage. Which is kind of what you need. Magitech Beam Plus. Go. Fire and my laser. Pews. Major pews. I made you pew. I made you look. I made you pew. Because you couldn't stop farting. Until you pooed. I don't know. I didn't have anything for that. There is, of course, the question. Do you ever have anything for anything? No. No, I do not. Bubbidi-bibbidi-bop. Bubbidi-bibbidi-boo. Bubbidi-bubbidi-bibbidi-bibbidi. I've always got strange noises. Strange noises that go approximately into the theme. Actually, how much do you get for a charge? Not a lot. But enough to get another Magitech beam off in the not too distant future. Redeem yourself? Good. Magitech beam! I will charge your magical cannons. Yes! Feel the full might of a Moogle. You cannot survive the Koopoing. Nobody can survive the Koopoing. Everybody will regret their decisions to mess with my Koopo. Do you want to see my Koopo? Do you want to see my Koopo coupon? It gets you 10% off of a little plush Koopo. Moogle, even. Koopo's the noise, Moogle's the creature. I know, I'm pretty certain you can get plush Koopos, because they are the fluffy mascot of Final Fantasy. Must be, I'd be slightly tempted to get a plush Moogle, but they're one of those things that's a little bit overly expensive for what you're actually getting. Complicated cables are us. No, I think we definitely need to start here. Well, in fairness, it says 1, so yes, we do definitely need to start there. Shortcuts, 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 short bacon sides, short bacon sides, short bacon sides. Have you got short bacon sides? Okay, so all of yours. No, not all of yours. Interesting. Okay, yeah, 4 out of 5. Right, so balance. Balance is not going to be quite as useful as fire, so we'll put fire on there. You have none of your abilities on there, which is why I'm assuming why you suck so much. Put Revenge Blast on there, good. Cure Rays, very good. Libra and Foxfire, marvellous. The Bushman can, because he mixes it with Bush and makes the Bush go Bush. And then the Sharkman, the Jayman, the Zappadyman. You want your Thunders and... let's put your Thunder and your Thunderbolt together in a list. Although not really together. Well, no, Y and B, that's sufficiently close on a controller. And now here we go. Ideally, we want your abilities on your shortcuts. Sandstorm, Venom Needle and Tickle, yes. Charge Beam, Ice Beam, yes. You, get your Fire on, get your Cure on, get your Libra on. Get your Libra on. Right, and now let's get my stacks going. So Cross Slash, yes. Tremor, yes. Oh no, we want Imprison on B. Well, do I? No, I probably don't actually. I don't need Imprison on a shortcut because it's already on the map. Anything else that is sort of a... Oh, I suppose at this point we might as well pop. Because Thunder should be elsewhere, right? Oh no, Thunder... yeah, Thunder is... Oh god, hang on, I've gone too far back. Yeah, Thunder's one of your moves, so yeah, that's fine. Right, Magitek Beam, perfect. Fire, perfect. Cura, perfect. And then the last thing... Doesn't matter, it can remain the Fire Beam, because it makes little to no difference. There we go, my shortcuts are now relatively sorted. Oh, I gotta... battle you and make do with it. Must admit, we're pushing time, which is slightly awkward, because now I need to find a save point. I might have to just go back to the save point at the entrance, perhaps. Because arguably, let's go Super Turbo mode on all the battles, but it can make you a little bit flippant in terms of the damage you're receiving, which is not great news. Clusterfuck indeed. Not good news for you or me. Twat it in the face. Never mind. He's refueling. I'm gonna definitely have to heal myself now. Cure a slightly more guaranteed decent heal. As much as the Wind Nocturne is quite nice, the guaranteed heavy duty heal is usually the more necessary. Get in there, get your heels on. Dig your heels in, get your heels on. Now continuing the Assault Protocol. Assault Protocol being smash it in the face. Smash it in the face, smash it in the dick. Smash it anywhere you like to smash things. Indeed. Well, if I'm going to try and go back on myself, it might not be worthwhile trying to do these, but we'll see. Let's... So where's that save? Interesting. It depends on... Yeah, that's not going to open what I could do with it opening there, is it? Oh, but that will... Okay. I might be able to push forward and still get a save point in the not too distant future. Which will be fine. That's the other thing I think I sort of agree with in some places. It is quite useful if they go with the idea of saving anywhere. Because essentially, once upon a time, they did a lot of these RPGs had a system where you could quick save and leave. But that seemed to sort of fall foul of the... Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Bollocks. That's not going to help the speed at which I can do these battles. But yeah, they used to do sort of like an emergency exit, essentially, where you could do a little quick save that when you used that save, it would be automatically deleted. So it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't a permanent save, but it would allow you to go, oh shit, I need to do something, and quick save and out. That seems to have died off somewhat. And I do feel like almost the save point as a mechanic is perhaps a little bit archaic. I suppose arguably that might just be because I'm an adult now. Doesn't make as much difference for children. But as an adult, sometimes you do need to be able to save on the fly. And not have it sort of... Okay. Oh, that's interesting. That's not the door I thought it was going to be. Oh. Which actually is still a save point. Okay. That may not be the door I was expecting, but it is still a door to a save point. Well, having said that, that seems too low. No, I don't know. I'm gonna have to hope for the best. I think is the crucial. The dish of the day is hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and the worst is another battle. Of course, this is what highlights the sort of issue with the random battle system as well, because I'm now getting sort of locked in several encounters that I could do without because I'm trying to get the safe one. Yeah, go on. We'll cast a little bit of cure, I think, because it feels needed at this point. Oh dear. I think we're going to need some more curing, but I think Lan is the slightly better curer. But I think what we're going to do, literally, because he has cure, but what we can hopefully do is do a double tap of some cures. I think on this occasion, Forest Nocturne, because we're both relatively even, so Cura itself wasn't going to do too much more for me. Just keep speeding along and hitting it. I think it's interesting. This one, I think, is balanced slightly more towards the fact that you are going to need to cure a lot more. Possibly because you're only essentially two entities. You're not technically two characters, per se, because of the stat mechanics. But yeah, I feel like this one, more so than some other RPGs, feels a little bit more... The enemies are going to hit you harder. It might be because, of course, if you lose a battle, you end up just going back to the Nine Hills for the most part. There are obvious occasions that we've seen previously. Oh, I see. That would... Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, okay. Well, we're not going to deal with that 15-minute time limit, so we're probably going to have to figure out how to start it again, but... Oh, well, never mind. Yeah, I didn't actually mean to do that.
Hey, I said no fourth wall stuff. Whatever it is, it's not good.
What do those floating numbers above us mean? No fourth wall stuff. I do enjoy that little sort of bit of humour they've got there. Anyway, so I think that's probably putting it away time, despite the obvious fact that it's gonna potentially cause issues next time. It depends. I've wasted about 30 seconds, and next time I'm probably not going to understand what that timer is, which is probably going to cause some level of awkwardness, because it's going to be like, I don't know, what am I doing? I've got a timer, I don't know where I'm going.
World of Final Fantasy.
In fairness, though, there was only one direction I could go, and that was to join a band with a bunch of other blokes and start singing to people. So the One Direction joke. It's funny, isn't it? Let's go to the interim slideshow. And then I probably won't do a raid, because we think there might just be the two of us. Possibly a third, just the two of us. You and I. I'm just bibbidi-bobbiding around for a little bit of time so that I can read things. Right, anyway, now we've done bibbidi-bobbidi-bibs. We'll have a quick butchers, but I don't think there's anything worth raiding towards. I think we'll leave it. Probably not worth it again, but still, if you are after some, I believe it's going to still be Don't Starve action. There is Mr. Malice Caliber tonight.
So, I call him Nickering, right? The rival. I only care about strong Pokemon that can win. That sounds like Nickering. Meow.
There we go. That was his rival, Nickering. in Pokemon. I think that was silver, because that was the Bellsprout Tower. Bellsprout. And tomorrow night, so Malice is tonight at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, you have Mr. Can't Leave Must Pound.
Put it
The Dawning of the Redeemable. Because if you check out his redeemables, if you look very carefully in the stream, you can see his redeemables.
It's me.
You can actually make that happen. You do have to be careful which camera you're on, though. It has to be that set up. Now you can do that to him.
Oh, that's amazing. You're wearing red checks instead. You're right. I would. Hey, Jay.
Superb. That's it. That is officially Shallots. So yeah, I'll say cheerio. I'll tell you what, we'll pop a bunch in the chat as well. And then a skull. And then because it's Christmas. And then a skull. And then I believe it was 3 Cheerios. It won't make a difference on screen, but in the chat, it will distinctly look like a pretty little pattern. There we go. I will say cheerio and then end the stream, so cheerio.